Hey, everybody.
Hey Joel.
So I apologize to everybody here who's joining us. We're a half an hour late. We're pretty technically challenged, or at least I am, and we just couldn't figure out a few things. Really wanted to be able to screen share with you, but we're just not there yet.
Okay,
Um,
Joel. I can see
yeah.
we have a share screen option now down below. So let's try sharing my screen with you, okay?
Okay. For everyone who's here, um, this is going to be a bit different from our previous shows. What you're going to get is going to be a massive dump of different topics and how they relate to online citizen led democracy. So basically, what I can tell you is this. Um, I'm self-diagnosed AUDHD, which is a combination of ADHD and autism, and so I tend to throw lots of crap out. We're going to show you. Hopefully, we'll be able to screen share and share a video with you that Draco makes of me, where he shows me with a big fat head, and I'm going to try and do a big dump for you today on some of those things that are in my head. What's what's going to be different about today's show and about what's different about us from any other Substack that you're going to look at or follow or read or whatever you do is going to be this. Every single topic that we discuss is related to an actual solution. Okay. Tactics, strategy, and ways that the citizens of the world, the pro democracy citizens of the world, can unite online and address anything that is of concern and importance, which is primarily the protection, improvement, and expansion of freedom and democracy across the world. And if we get enough people here today, or even if we don't, this is going to be the beginning of making that happen. Um, so, if anybody ever has any questions, one thing I've been a bit discouraged about is the lack of involvement from people who are over in the live chat. We If we can get some of you to engage with us and ask questions, I think it really helps things, and it helps keep it from just myself or any one of the four of us kind of talking and preaching to you. So, with that said, if there's anyone here who has a question about or a topic that you would like us to address as a part of IOD Nations, International Online Democratic Nations, or IOD California, because I live in California and I am desperately trying to get a message, to get some kind of interactions with Governor Newsom. I believe that and everything about this show is going to be geared towards getting one influencer anywhere in the world to engage in an open discussion and questions about the future of online citizen-led democracy. Um, this has evolved with me over the years, and so this is the simplest way I can explain it. All of us are online right now. Everyone who's here, everyone who's joined this live chat, we all live and reside in this virtual world. We already live there. We already do business there. We already socialize there. We already conduct politics there. Every business and corporation and a lot of the bad players in the world they are already united online in different ways. And we're all there with them. It's like we're all swimming in this big virtual ocean together. And we can go anywhere in that ocean at the tap of a mouse. And all that we're suggesting when you boil online, Lynn, we need to talk. Glad to see someone from California here, and thanks for responding. Here's the point. We all have the ability to simply tap our mouses or tap our screens or click our mice in unison. And we become, if enough of us do it, we become the most powerful force for freedom and democracy in the world. If you've been at our previous shows, something like 80 to 90% of you are women. And I believe women are one of the groups that will most benefit from uniting online. And I joke about it, but I'm also very, very serious about it. Men, especially the white men of the world, we are the reason why we're in this horrific situation. Okay. We've been leading the world. When you cut through all the shit, we failed. And we've failed monumentally. Okay. And as my ex-wife will tell you, when men screw things up, they always depend on women to come clean up their goddamn messes. And that's part of the yin and yang of life. It's just part of reality. And what we are presenting is both our plea for help, right? To all the women out there, we've messed things up when we need your help. But if you and so Lynn just commented, she said, women are already united in other parts of the internet. Lynn, we're all already united in other parts of the internet, but the pro-democracy women of the world and the pro-democracy LGBTQ plus of the world and the pro-democracy BIPOC of the world and the pro-democracy climate activists of the world, none of us are united in one location or one or two locations. And that's the difference. It's this united collaborative effort that can happen online. So one of the topics I'm going to have today is going to be a discussion about two groups that I greatly admire and that I'm also really frustrated with. They're called Indivisible and 5051. You could also take it to Move On. We need these groups to encourage the people who belong with them and work with them and support them. We need them to encourage all of us to unite online. So a common theme, Lynn, that you're going to hear in today's show, and I'm actually going to ask you how you feel about it, is I would like you to imagine you're from California. I would like you to imagine that Monday, we all go to the internet and we allow the internet to access us. We allow the internet news to access us. Okay. And Governor Newsom comes out and makes an announcement and he says, I would like to announce that my governor's office just received emails from 2 million Californians who wish to establish online, citizen-led, democratic California. Okay? They want to establish an online, citizen-led virtual nation. And I want to announce as governor of California that I am appointing a liaison, and we are going to work with these citizens. We are going to encourage online citizen-led. One is they will have direct access and integrations to part of our existing California governance. And the second thing is they will also be a separate and autonomous citizen-led democracy that operates in parallel but completely separate from our existing government. And now what happens is when you do this, the citizens of California now can become more powerful and more influential than the existing government if they choose to. Okay? Lynn, you could run for governor of online citizen-led California. You could run for president of the International Online Democratic Women's Nation. What I'm trying to explain is when you say that we're all online and we're united already, we're not united in collaboration. We're not united in purpose. Okay? How many of you have watched the school protests that have taken place across the United States recently? Imagine if 10 million or 100 million, imagine if the international online or the online US Democratic Youth Nation, imagine if the youth of America, of the United States of America, were already united online. And imagine if you're a loud retired teacher. Okay, Lynn, this is right up your alley. Okay, imagine if the majority of those students were already united online, and if they had marched in unison, and when they had marched with a specific set of tactics and strategies that they were requiring, demands that they had, and that they would not go back to school until those demands were met. Okay, that would have been, women could do the same thing. Think of it like a suffragette movement. And you don't even have to march in the streets. We're entirely capable of producing this same type of protest online. It's just a matter of getting people united in one or two locations online where they're working together, okay? Coming up with specific tactics and strategies that they intend to implement. And once that's done, the pro-democracy citizens of the world become the most powerful, influential, and dominant entity in the history of history. Okay? Can you imagine what it would be like for the United States Women's Democratic Nation to be in direct collaboration with the United States Youth Democratic Nation? Okay? You've multiplied the power of that. If any of you are parents, okay, if you had a young child right now and you went to them and you said, hey, we heard about, and it could be a young child or it could be a middle school, it could be high school. We've heard that the youth of the United States are uniting online and they're forming their own democracy. As a young person, would you like to become a member and a citizen of this online United States Democratic Youth Nation? Maybe you'd like to run for president of that nation, or maybe you just want to work behind the scenes and create amazing videos and social media that promote online citizen-led democracy. My point is we've got to flip this switch from talking about what we can't do. Lynn, look at that. You guys, you should all be looking at Lynn, okay? She's participating. She's talking with us. She's helping us carry this conversation on. And she's doing it without even having to offer to participate other than just expressing interest. And that's, as we go through this show today, you're going to see me really fired up. You're going to see me cry. We're going to make you laugh. We have some of the craziest videos. I've been working on this for 10 years, trying to get people to ask questions about online citizen-led democracy. And because of my, the Ashfak, who you see on the screen with me, he's been with me through a lot of this journey for years and years. And I've driven him crazy because I keep coming up with all these different ways to try and save this message. And we finally got here. We finally got a Substack that's getting some traction. And I can promise you this, after today's show, we're going to get a hell of a lot more traction. And we are going to change the world. I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, but I will tell you this. The pro-democracy citizens of the world are afraid, and they should be. John F. Kennedy said in one of his famous speeches, he said, the Chinese have two characters for chaos. One is danger and the other is opportunity. Okay. We're aware, Lynn, of the danger of ICE. Okay. That's part of the chaos. But we're also aware that ICE has created this opportunity. ICE brought those students together. And we are going to continue beating this drum and promoting online citizen-led democracy until it happens, because it is inevitable. So that's what we believe. So Ashfaq, can you just touch base with Draco and see if
Yes,
he could
actually, you
share?
can invite Draco into this call, and he can come in and start sharing his screen.
How do I just find him in this feed and invite him? Is that the deal?
Uh, probably, probably, but
It's not letting me.
okay.
It says he joined. So
Yeah,
he's in the feed, but do I need to add him in some
yeah,
way?
yeah. Yes, you need to add him. So, because I'm not the host of this live feed, I don't have all the options
Can
to
I
add.
make you a host or a co-host? I thought I did.
I mean, yeah, you probably did, but I don't have the option to invite anybody into this.
Okay.
Can
While
you
I'm
share your
talking, can you
screen?
guys?
You
Yeah.
have, yeah, do that. Let's see if we can help you out with that. Okay, now go to the Substack feed. I mean, where the live video is going on.
How do I get there?
Uh,
Okay, right here.
I don't know. I mean, I can see a portion of the screen, not the entire thing. Let me see if I can make it full screen. Oh. So, I mean, you can see where the live chat is, right? It's open on your other window, probably.
Yes.
Can you take me to that screen?
I thought I was there. All right. We're not going to be able to share stuff unless you guys can figure it out
Okay, I mean, I can
and tell
actually,
me exactly what to
Draco.
do.
So you stop sharing your screen. Let me share mine. And Draco actually shared the links with me. So let me know which one do you want to show people first.
Does So are people able to see you're sharing the screen? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So guys, I want to introduce everybody who's here to Draco. Draco's going to share his agent of peace. And we need you to tell us if you can see and hear this video. I will tell you, Draco just created this on his own to try and explain what online citizen led democracy meant to him. And I have a hard time watching this without crying. So, um, can you guys
Actually, I
share that?
probably need to. Yeah, so I will open that video. Let me check if I can share the audio in the live chat. So give me a moment.
Okay. So for everybody else who's here, I'm showing 42 people here. Okay. Um, would
Okay.
one part of what we're going to do today, especially for Lynn, I'm going to ask Lynn, would you be willing to send an email to the governor of California's office today? And hang on before you hit play.
Yep.
So Lynn, if you had that, and the sole purpose of that email was to say to Governor Newsom and his office and his staff, will you please begin discussing online citizen led democracy for the state of California and for our nation? And that's our only request. We're just, everything about today's show, as I said earlier, I need one influential person anywhere in the world who has an audience to engage with me in a discussion. And if I get that, we're going to change the world. And you guys are going to be given a way to help get that. We tried to do a Zoom, Lynn, and we were struggling. I'm really technically challenged. And we will have it together for our next show. I can promise you that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to try playing um, Draco, who we call AOP, our agent of peace. Let's see if we can play that for you. Can you try that, Ashfak?
Yeah. So I think people won't be able to hear the audio, but we need your output. Let us know if you can hear the audio. So I'm playing it right now.
I cannot hear the audio.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's
Okay,
a
so we're not going to
problem
be able to.
with.
That's we're not going to be able to offer that to you guys. I really apologize. We thought we had this worked out, but we didn't. We will do better next time. Maybe
Okay.
maybe Ashfaq and Rakesh and Draco can figure some of this out while I'm talking. So I'm gonna share a couple things I wrote last night in preparation for this. Um, Throughout history and life, there are these amazing moments where amazing human beings somehow find themselves changing the world. And history looks back and says, and this is how Arthur Schopenhauer expressed it, all truth passes through three stages: ridicule, opposition, and acceptance as being self evident. We consider that the citizens of the world uniting online democratic is about to become self evident. As a matter of fact, I really wish I could share some videos with you. If you go to our iodnations.org website, we made the craziest movie video where I call myself Captain Obviously, and our show there is called The Elephant in the Room, and it's a hard hitting, very satirical video. Um, where we make fun of Pete Davidson's penis to promote online citizen-led democracy. And if you ask and you say, why are you taking such a meaningful, legitimate, serious topic? The reason I do that is out of frustration, in that the inability over all these years of trying to get people to talk about it and not being able to. It's like I made a vow on the first of this year. I made a resolution, which haven't done in 40 years. I will not stop until the world is talking about online citizen-led democracy, and I will do or say damn near anything to make that happen. So today, to all the women that are here, I'm asking you to unite and establish the online citizen-led women's democratic nation. And I consider this movement like today's suffragette movement, except it's going to take place online. And when I expressed to Lynn about sending an email, I've sent multiple emails to the governor of California. I've sent links to different serious stuff and different crazy stuff and haven't gotten a response. But imagine, and we're going to ask you to do this later today, imagine if 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 or 100 of us sent an email to Governor Newsom that said, I would like to become a recognized online democratic citizen of the state of California. Okay. And okay, we're going to hit you up, Lynn. See if you can get one other person in here. Can we get one other person who would say, yes, I would send an email? We're also going to ask you to send an email to NATO. Okay. And I just want you, go ahead.
Joel, on the top right corner, you have an arrow icon. Can you click on that to see if you can invite Lynn or Draco in the call?
I can add guests. Yes.
Yes. So Lynn, do you want to be in this call? Let us know. And then we have Draco waiting. So
if I add Draco, can he share his screen?
yes. So Lynn wants to be on the call. So let's add Lynn first. We talk to her, and then we add Draco. Okay.
Okay. Let me find Lynn here. Okay, she's not showing up as a guest that I can add. So it looks like the only guests that I can add are paid subscribers, possibly.
I'm not sure about that. So Rakesh, bro. Oh, you need to type her name, LY
Okay. Okay, so I have a bunch of Lyns. I have Lyns from all over the world.
See if you can match the profile photo.
Okay, let me go back. Sorry guys, bear with us, but we want to get Lynn in here really.
Let me take a look at it, see if I can help you out with it. Okay, I can see your screen. Try inviting a guest.
I can't see my screen. I have like a whole.
Yeah. So you focus on the top bar. Okay, you click on the arrow icon. Okay, Lynn, if you haven't subscribed to IOD Nations, you need to do that in order to be on the call. It doesn't have to be probably a paid call, because we are trying to, you know, talk to as many people as we can. Uh, so
Okay.
Diane Mills said Lynn is responding. Yes, that is great.
Diane, the problem is that I am technologically challenged. We will get there.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Lynn is
Lynn,
subscribed. Let me try
yeah,
again.
yeah. Try the arrow button again and type in her name. See if she pops up.
Okay, so add a guest. Nope, she doesn't pop up. I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
All right. If you
So,
guys can figure it out, I'll do it. Lynn, we're trying. We just really struggle. So bear with us. Okay. So I have a wide variety of topics to talk about. One of them I talked about on our last show. I'm going to try and cover it briefly here. It's called the Law of Diffusion of Innovation. Again, I was hoping to share a video from Simon Sinek and his TED Talk. It's one of the most popular TED Talks in history. And the law of diffusion of innovation says that for every major change in humanity, for society, for groups of people, it's always led by 2.5% of the people who are considered the innovators and inventors, the leaders, the change agents. And the reason that curve covers the psychology of human behavior as it relates to change. So you have 2.5%, which is the innovators and the inventors. Then you have roughly 12.5 to 15%, which are the early adopters. You have about 34%, which is the early majority, 34% is the late majority, and about 15% are the laggards. And when Simon does this presentation, he talks about the chasm, and the chasm is this couple of percentage difference between the early adopters and the early majority. And basically, the law of change, the law of human change, says that anytime you cross that chasm with an idea, so let's say we're talking about online citizen-led democracy, that law says once you get about 18%, it's going to happen. It has reached a level where you cannot stop it. That's a large enough segment of humanity that they are going to make it happen. And my point is that law was put in place before the internet. And just as I'm talking about exploring the possibilities of freedom and democracy in an online citizen-led democratic world, what I'm also talking about, and the most radical part about all of this, is because of the internet, we immediately changed the whole dynamics of the law of diffusion of innovation. Okay. What it means is that let's give you an example. Lynn has run for president of the U.S. Women's Democratic Nation. Okay. And they have United Online. You get, Lynn, help me get anybody to join this. This is why we're here. We need everybody's help. Okay. But so Lynn is the president of this nation. Okay. And Lynn puts up a post on the live or on the feed or on the website for the United States Women's Democratic Nation. And she says, would the women of the U.S. Women's Democratic Nation like to approve and accept the IOD Youth nation of the world as a collaborating nation. Okay, so that's the International Online Democratic Youth Nation. Do the women of the U.S. Women's Democratic Nation wish to accept them as a collaborator? Immediately, I can guarantee you that you're going to cross the chasm. You will immediately, at the click of a mouse, enter into the early majority, if not blow right through that into the late majority. And immediately now you have created and you have collaborating two of the largest pro democracy groups in history. Okay. Now, Lynn goes, "Oh my God, I just got a request from the IOD LGBTQ plus nation." Okay. And thank you so much for responding. And all of a sudden, Lynn puts out a notification. Do the women of the United States Democratic on the IOD, the US Democratic Online Nation wish to accept the IOD LGBTQ plus nation as a part of our online world? And boom, you've crossed the chasm, because all of those women are going to want another powerful nation that they can collaborate with. So now, within a day, Lynn has just collaborated the one of the most powerful women's entities in the world, the U.S. Women's Democratic Nation. They are now in direct and collaborative alignment with the LGBTQ IOD Nation, okay, and the IOD Youth Nation. And they're all working together. And my point on all of this is what they have. It's the power and influence and the strategy and tactics that they will be able to implement are amazing. But the most important thing is we've simply redefined the law of diffusion of innovation. We've redefined how human change takes place. And because if those online democratic nations agree to collaborate, anything that they feel is mutually beneficial to the freedom and democracy promoting citizens of the world, it happens at the touch of a mouse. We've literally altered the trajectory of human change from a pro freedom and democracy standpoint. I've created some music, just one of those things, journeys that I've taken on this using AI, and I come from a musical family. Can you imagine if the artists of the world, especially the music artists, established the IOD Music or IOD Art Nation, okay? And all of a sudden, we have millions of artists from across the world who are united online. And they decide we're either going to establish our own streaming platform where we dictate how the money from our art is utilized, or we're going to offer one of the main streaming services the ability to collaborate with us. Now, Lynn's sitting over there, and Lynn's going, "Oh my God, the women, the pro freedom and democracy women of the world, we want to be a part of this. We're only going to stream music from the IOD Art Nation's approved music streaming services, because we know that they're working to make sure that the artists of the world benefit from this." Okay? Will they vote, Joseph? Will they vote? We make voting so easy. Okay? Voting now becomes the click of a mouse. All you have to do is put something forth, and enough people vote on it, it happens. Thank you, Joseph, for participating. One of the primary reasons why so many people don't vote is because they are convinced that democracy is broken. I want to tell you a story. I had a good friend. He was conservative. I won't go into it too far. We really had a lot of long-term conversations and really deep conversations about this stuff. And ultimately, when our friendship ended, he told me, you know, Joel, you're just too fucking idealistic. He said, democracy always fails. Our democracy is going to fail, and you just need to get over it. And that was one of our last conversations, discussions before our friendship and communication ended. And here's what happened, Joseph. I walked away from that, and after the fact, I realized I was really angry at him, but I realized he's right. And this goes back to my comment earlier about chaos being danger and opportunity. Throughout history, okay, we can't live separate from history. Throughout human history, every democracy has failed. Lynn, can you hear us? Or is it just frozen regarding the image? Just let me know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you clearly, and I can see the dog moving behind you and stuff.
Okay. All right. So here's the point. Democracy always fails. We are not some unbelievable group of human beings who are immune from this. But what I realized, and what I wish I could have told him, is that every time freedom and democracy fails, some group of humans, Ashfak made this amazing video. It's called You Crazy Diamonds. And it talks about this group of human beings who come along and they take the remnants, they take the manure of that failed democracy, and they grow the next democracy. And every time in history we've done this, okay, this new, vibrant, bold democracy has come to life. And I fucking refuse to be the generation that fails to do that, especially when we're all here, where we're all online, we're all already united online, and all we have to do is click our mouse or tap our screen in unison, and we can create this next bold vision of democracy, and the women of the world can be the leaders. My God, for once, you can put yourself at a place in history where white, corrupt, sexually deviant men are not the ones in charge. You guys can be, you gals can. I make this statement. I say it's time that we stop talking about going down in history. We need to stand up in history, okay? And honestly, we need the women of the world to do it. It's your turn, okay? It's your turn. And Joseph, back to your point and what I was saying about this. The reason that so many people do not vote, you can talk to them. They go, my vote doesn't make a difference, or my vote cancels out. But what about if we change the world, this online world, where when you vote here, it counts. And when you integrate with us and when you talk to us about what you want to see happen in the world, it matters. Rakesh, who's one of the four of us, and I want to say something. You got 3 guys working with me from Bangladesh, and I pay them, but I pay them slave wages because that's all I've got. Okay. And if you want to support us on our Patreon or whatever, we're not going to beg for your support. We're going to keep going without it. But your support will make a lot of things possible. And if you subscribe to this Substack, we're going to blow your mind. But these guys are here doing this because they want a democracy that they can believe in. I'm in Central California, San Luis Obispo County, Lynn.
So I would actually like to go back to what's his name, Joseph. So
Okay.
Joseph, we understand the does your vote matters, that issue. I mean, imagine why you cannot vote from your home. Okay, I mean there are, so on our last live meeting we had somebody who said that she was disabled and it's frustrating that she cannot participate in the elections. So we are trying to change that system. Okay, we are trying to build a new system that is actually made by the people for the people. I mean, corrupt politicians won't have, I mean, it will be all transparent. So even if they want to, they cannot, like do those bad stuff because we are going to be in charge. And I would like to take this opportunity to tell you about that we are not just talking, we are building whatever we can. I am not like a coder or a software engineer, but I have built, I mean, I strongly believe in Joel's ideas, his vision, and but we have our differences. Okay, I mean, we don't agree on all the stuffs. I believe that we need to get out of Facebook. Joel says that we can stay inside Facebook and organize. So actually, maybe both of us are right, maybe both of us are wrong, but we are trying. And
Those are
so,
not mutually exclusive, Ashfak. We
yeah,
can do both, right?
yes, exactly. So I actually learned something interesting from the Matrix movie, which is when you have, like two options and you are confused, like which one you should pick, you have to pick both of them. I mean, it sounds silly, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, imagine, you have, like, you like two girls and you cannot decide.
I don't think this is what you want to say to a large group of women, Ashfak. Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying. I mean, it doesn't always work. We're just jokes apart. We are actually trying to build some platforms that reflects the democratic views. So in like in part of that, we built something called IOD Nations Social. So if you go to iodnations.org and click on the Be Offensive button, it will take you to the social network. I mean, it's not something great like Facebook. As I said, I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a coder, but I have a strong will, and I build that platform. Even we are planning to build some economic platforms that combines Upwork, LinkedIn, and Amazon together, so that we don't have to depend on authoritarian platforms. I mean, if they don't comply, we
I,
just switch to a platform.
can I cut
Yes,
in?
yes, you can cut in, and but we need to talk about the GoFundMe. So go ahead.
Okay. I've got is there any woman here who works in product development, intellectual property, marketing, retail? Joseph, you lost me there. I don't know what stop while you're behind means, but I I've been a hack of an inventor. Uh, Honestly, Ashfaq and I worked on one of my products for a long time, and it's at an amazing state right now. Um, I would if the women of the world unite online democratically and form this nation, I will work with you to launch a product that could generate millions of dollars of income. And here's the amazing part. I was going to launch this product on Kickstarter, but I realize we'll talk about that, Joseph. I realized that by the time I got it to the point where I could have put it on Kickstarter, in China, they were taking physical products that were put out and they would actually copy them and bring them to market before a Kickstarter campaign was done. And they would undercut the product. And I literally knew that if I launched it on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, it would be lost because I didn't have the money to protect the intellectual property. But now I want you to imagine this. Imagine that the women of the world have established their IOD Women's Nation, an international online democratic women's nation. And they've created their own pro-democracy economic platform that everybody who's pro-democracy online is beginning to utilize. They could post a new product that is in development. I would give them my products. This one product I'm thinking about is damn valuable. Okay. They could put that product out to their online marketplace before it's even fully developed and say, if we develop this product, how many of you would purchase it? How viable is this product? Okay. And so before you even move into the manufacture of it, before you even move into the marketing of it, before you even invest a whole bunch of money and take that risk, all of a sudden now, Lynn, who's president of the IOD Women's Nation or the U.S. Online Democratic Women's Nation, she knows that 20% of the millions of citizens that they have already said we would buy that product. Okay. Now, as a product developer in the United States, over 95% of patents, and I've applied for a couple, over 95, damn it, that's going to give some shit away there. Over 90, you women better organize quick or somebody's going to see this product and steal it and you're going to lose out on hundreds of millions of dollars. I'll tell you right now. Lynn would know already that this was a viable product. Okay. Talking about this SCOTUS rulings on tariffs. Lynn, I'm not worried about the president. Okay. What we are going to do is we're going to unite online. We're going to become the most powerful pro-freedom and democracy force in the world. And they are going to have to come to us, to you, the women of the world. You guys are going to be in control. It's not going to matter what they say. You are going to become so powerful and influential now that they're going to be posting about what Lynn said. Lynn's going to be making an announcement on tariffs, and the whole world's going to be listening to her. That's what's going to happen. That's the difference. We have to stop playing defense. It's time to go on offense, and we have to unite online to do it. And we have to take control of these situations. And once you do that, once you unite online, and once you establish that you have this ability to affect change so rapidly, they are going to be coming to you. The corporations of the world are going to be coming to the online democratic women of the world, and they're going to say, how do we get access to you in your marketplace? What do we have to do to get to you unfiltered? And Lynn's going to say, well, all you have to do is adhere to our motto. if you are not pro-democracy, then you are not pro-democracy. You need to develop a corporate mission statement that indicates that you are pro-democracy and that 66% or whatever of your employees sign off on. And second, you have to implement pro-democracy strategies and tactics for your products and services. And if you don't do that, you don't get direct access to us. We, the women of the world, we are in control of our own economy. And if you want access to us, you have to meet our requirements, or we filter you. We limit your access. We may put a tariff on it. We may tax it. We are the ones in control now. You're not dictating to us anymore, God damn it.
Okay,
We are. What
can
do
I?
you want to say, Ashfak? Yep.
Okay, so to Lynn and anyone else who wants to actually develop a platform, I am inviting you to collaborate with us. I am building a multi-vendor marketplace just like Amazon, where anybody can sign up and start selling their products. Also, I am working on a digital menu app for Android devices for restaurants that are in remote areas. The purpose of this app is to give the sovereignty back to the owner. I mean, they don't have to depend on monthly subscriptions. Okay, so they can pay a small fee and it's free for lifetime. So we are trying to build out cool stuff. So if you are interested, contact with me. Let's have a call and we'll discuss what we can build together. So go ahead, Joel.
Here's the other thing. I'm gonna self-deprecate, and Lynn, I'm gonna tell. Well, I have to be very careful, Lynn, about what I'm gonna tell you about using Amazon, because we got in trouble on our last show. We broke the law, and I'm going to issue a retraction in a few minutes. But here's the thing I want to tell you to everybody who's listening here. We need you to share this. We need you to restack this. We need you to talk to people about this, because in all honesty, but also a bit tongue in cheek, we couldn't even figure out how to get our video and our sharing incorporated in today's show. And if you're relying on us to save world democracy on our own without your input, help, and assistance, we're in deep shit, folks. So, we need you to participate. Okay, we're doing our best. We're pretty damn dedicated. We're damn dedicated. We've been at this a long time, but you have got to join in and help with us, because we are going to blow this shit up and we need help. Go ahead, Ashfak.
Okay, so before I say anything, I'd like to ask all of the people who are watching right now, please share this live stream with your friends. Yes, we actually started, Lynn, we started with a Zoom link, and then Joel had some trouble, so we couldn't do the Zoom on this week.
We actually, Lynn, hang on, Lynn, we actually did it last night. We had it working. We had it all up. We were ready to go. I overslept this morning. We went to bring it up. It wasn't working the way it had worked last night, and here we sit. Our next meeting will be on Zoom, and it will work. I promise you.
Yes. So what I was trying to say was, okay. So first thing is, please share it with your friends. I'm talking about this live feed, so they can be a part of this and see what we're doing, learn what we're doing, and then become a part of it. Because so Joel have a quotation like where he says, "We are the internet." So we don't actually access the internet. I mean, internet doesn't have any value. Facebook Amazon, nothing have any value if we don't use those platforms. Okay, so we, the people, are the power. So we need to understand that we need to, use our power in a more meaningful way. So what I was trying to say,
Can I
actually, yeah,
go
let
ahead?
me
Go ahead,
finish
but I want to
it.
cut in
So
here.
actually, democracy is similar to that code. If you don't participate, it doesn't work. So you have to participate in the discussions, in the infrastructure building, in the communication or whatever you can do. Just spend a little bit of time every day to build a better world for the future generation. So go ahead, Joel.
Okay. So I'm going to ask everybody here a question, and I'm going to tell you that unless you've listened to us before, I'm 99% sure I know the answer. So actually, from a standpoint of participation, because we are trying to get people to participate, you can, if anybody would be willing to just type in a yes or no answer to this question, I'm going to pause for about 10 seconds after I ask it. So everybody who would be willing to help us, I ask you to at least consider just typing yes or no in the feed, in the live chat feed. And the question is this: insanely simple. Do you access the internet? Yes or no? How many people will respond to that question? Come on, guys. Tina, I know you, or Lynn, I know you will. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much, guys. Now, nothing, if you, I'm going to tell all of you, Draco, you know you don't. What the hell? You guys, Rakesh, you're supposed to respond no. You're supposed to be the ones who have figured this out. Okay. This is like asking whether the cup is half full or half empty. We do not access the internet. Okay.
Everybody said yes. That's funny, man. Like I was expecting at least Rakesh to say no, and then
Me
suddenly
too.
yeah.
Okay. We do not access the internet. We grant the internet access to us. Okay. Substack, you did not access Substack today. You did not access this live feed. You granted this live feed access to you. Now, that seems like the glass is still half full or half empty, whatever you want to say. But what happens is when you accept that, when you understand that, your mindset changes, okay? And when your mindset, exactly, we do not access the internet, we are the internet. Meta and Facebook are worthless without us, okay? Just like Amazon is worthless without us. Our real power and influence comes not from exiting these platforms, okay? When a few of us exit them, the rest of the people that stay there are still giving them power and influence. But if we all say we are the internet and we're going to put up a filter, Amazon, if you want access to us, you have to prove to us, the women of the world, the pro-democracy women of the world who are united online. If Amazon wants direct access to us, they have to meet our requirement. Now, we're not saying Amazon can get access to us if they don't identify themselves and prove themselves to be pro-freedom and democracy. But Amazon has to pass through filters because we are the internet and we put those filters in place, and you only get access to us if we grant it, and we determine the terms and conditions of your access to us, because we are united online and we refuse to give you dominion over us, and we are going to impose our filters upon you.
Hey, can I
And
say
it's,
something?
yeah.
Okay. So first thing is, Joel, you need to go back to the feed and see if you have missed any chats. We need to read out the comments. I mean, Rakesh was telling me that we need to do that. So, and I need to say something to Lynn. I mean, she just wrote something about Bezos, and I hate Bezos. Okay.
I'm gonna step away for just a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, you take it, Ashfak.
All right. So Lynn and anybody else who really hate Bezos and the actions they are taking. So I actually made an app that's called the Boy app. For now, it's only available in the uh, Android devices, Google Play Store. But we are working on a polished product which will be available on the web and also on all the devices. Probably within this June or July, somebody will share or let me actually share the Boy app link here with you in a moment. If any of you are using Android phone, you can use this uh, app, book app or audiobook app to listen to books and listen to audiobooks for free. And it's just a prototype now. We are working on the polished product. So we actually need your support. Joel, we need to talk about the GoFundMe campaign so that we have a clip that we can.
Wait a minute. I got. Damn it!
Hey,
I
sorry,
gotta say
Lynn.
something.
I mean, we will have a version for the Apple within a few months, so bear with us, and you'll be able to read and listen to books for free. You don't have to depend on Bezos's platforms, okay? Don't worry, Courtney. We are working on it. We are working on it. Joel actually donated, a lot of money. I mean, a lot of,
A
in a
lot.
sense, to me, but
I
I mean.
donated $150, and
Yeah, actually, I needed three
if
hundred dollars
we could
to.
get some other people to help us, we'd get it a lot quicker.
Yes,
I'm going to step in and interrupt you, okay, Ashfaq?
sure.
I want to talk to Ruthless Patriot.
Okay.
Draco is going to share a link to his Agent of Peace video because we can't screen share right now, Ruthless. But you should watch that video, and I would love you to watch it while you're here and share your comments with the group, because it is one of the most powerful videos or to me and to our movement that I've ever seen. And when you say that you're here peacefully, when Draco, our AOP, we call him AOP, Agent of Peace, I think that video will actually move you. So I'm coming back in. I'm gonna ask everybody here. So I've already gotten an okay from Lynn. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to the point, and I'll keep asking this throughout this feed. I'm searching for 20 people, let's say 10 people, 10 people who would send an email today if we asked them to, just a simple email to a few locations to try and help get our message out. Everybody should watch it, Courtney, but thank you so much for saying that. It's only, I forget, it's like 1 minute and 20 seconds long, and it's so freaking powerful. And Lynn, here's what one of the cool things about it, Lynn. We directed it to the county of San Luis Obispo. I've started speaking to their board at every meeting, and I'm urging San Luis Obispo County. And Lynn, if you're what county are you in, Lynn, in Northern California? Can you tell me?
Okay, Tina was saying who to email. So I will definitely email somebody. I mean, you just have to ask.
We will tell you, Tina. We're going to have it for you. Yolo County. Okay. Lynn, I am proposing that San Luis Obispo County become the most pro-democracy and freedom county in the world. And I officially lay down a challenge to Yolo County, and we're going to be sending this out to every county in California, because we believe that every county should compete to become the most pro-freedom and democracy county. And I have been struggling like hell to get the Board of Supervisors to even ask a question about what online citizen-led democracy can be. So I'm gonna go through a list of topics that I can discuss today. You think you guys are already the most pro-democracy and freedom county in California? That is badass. Can you tell me why? I would love to hear that. So there's a lot of topics I'm going to talk about today, and stuff that we've done over time to try and promote this. And one of the things we've done, and I'm going to talk about today, is I'm going to take, you're Democratic. Every town in your county is Democratic. What does that mean? Does it have a higher density of Democrats in Yolo County in every town? We'll talk about that. Let's talk about universities. In San Luis Obispo County, we have Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and their claim to fame is that they learn by doing. And UCSB, along with UCSD, or Cal Poly San Luis, UCSB, UCSD, and Stanford. We have on multiple occasions emailed over 150 political science professors and the heads of their political science departments. And one of my questions to the County Board of Supervisors in San Luis Obispo is, why aren't the students and faculty of the Learn by Doing University exploring online citizen-led democracy as an experiment? Because if you learn by doing and you're political science professors and you're not conducting scientific experiments related to politics, then you're not a political scientist, okay? You're either some combination of a political historian or a political theorist. It is a new idea, Lynn, and that's what scientists are supposed to do. They're supposed to create, double-blind scientific studies. Why don't we see students attending these meetings, like the County Board of Supervisors? Why hasn't Cal Poly SLO and their political science department and their technology departments, why aren't they working to integrate online citizen-led democracy in with our local democracies. Hey, Rakesh, can you type the name of that app that they're using? I believe they're using it in Barcelona to integrate the citizens with their local democratic governance. And then in Taiwan, they've integrated citizen-led democracy to the point where if any citizen of Taiwan, I think I'll get this right, if any citizen of Taiwan can submit an issue to the government that has 500 people who signed on to the petition, in other words, or 5,000 people have said that they want the government to deal with this issue or address it, then that's what the government does, right? And so the Decidim, and if I understand Decidim correctly, it is an online platform that is already created that any local, state, national, or probably international government can utilize this program, this platform, this whatever it is. Tina, please be in contact later. Please subscribe, do whatever you can. Thank you so much for being here. This is what I'm telling you is, for instance, if we all email the governor, okay, if we all email NATO, okay, there are platforms out there that are already available where online citizen-led democracy can, and we have our platform that Ashfak's working on, right? There are ways that we could blow this world up, right? We could immediately integrate these platforms. And it goes back to one of the comments earlier about why young people and so many people don't vote. If you establish these online democracies and people start to see that when they go in, you know, let's say Karen, who just joined us, let's say one of Karen's passion projects is animal rescue, okay? And Karen uses this application to submit a proposal for how to better protect and help pets, okay? And she gets enough support for that. Immediately, that gets moved up and people start dealing with it. And they believe that when they vote and when they participate, they start to realize that their democracy is working for them. Shalana, thank you so much for being here. We love it. We appreciate it. We want you to subscribe and we want you to join. But I want to point out what's different from this live chat from all the other ones that you've been in. We understand the dangers and the chaos that are in place, but we do not focus on that, okay? What we focus on is how do we adapt, overcome, and unite online so that we become the regime. We become the citizen-led democratic leaders of the world online. And
Okay,
we are going to go ahead.
Can I add a few things? So, thanks for being here. And so, our agent of peace actually shared some amazing ideas about protest. So, it doesn't always have to be violent. Okay, I mean, we can simply, like do wall arts. I mean, I have seen people are doing human chains to stop ice raids and stuff. And in Bangladesh, we actually had an authoritarian government, ousted out by the students. We had this campaign where, like all of the students came out and they painted the whole city, okay, with the violence that we are seeing in front of us. They just painted, and it changed the perception. I mean, nobody coming out of the street want to support that authoritarian regime. So that's one of the ideas. I mean, there are some
Wait, let me ask you a question, Ashfak. When you say painted, what do you mean?
wall paintings, just like you do on, let's say, like, let me share my screen with you actually, to
Can
show
you?
you what I mean. Yeah.
Were these peaceful
So
painting? Is that what you're telling us?
yeah. So actually, I'm going to show you the paintings we have done in 2024 Bangladesh. So wherever you go, you will see this sort of ad. Okay, so here's one of the guys. He was on one of the protests where police opened fire, and he was actually asking people if anybody needs water. So it reads, "Pani lagbe pani." That means, hey, do you need water? You need water or something. And you see, this is just a sidewalk with whoever can do what kind of art, they just put it out there, and it's all about protesting the authoritarian regime. Okay, and it was crazy.
So
So this is one of the, yeah,
now imagine, Ashfaq, imagine if
they're
the
writing poems in the wall. So it was crazy.
imagine if Lynn, as president of the U.S. Democratic Women's Nation, was sharing these paintings from across the United States that may be done outdoors or may be done as t-shirt designs or whatever. And the
Yes.
Women's Nation,
Yep.
the Women's Nation got to vote and select the ones that they most love. And imagine if the sale of that artwork benefited the artist and benefited the Women's Nation. Okay. So now all of a sudden they've created a part of this marketplace that promotes peaceful protest. It generates income. It rewards the artists, and it elevates the power and influence of the women of the world and the United States who are united democratically, right? And so it plays into all of this. And the same thing can be done with music, okay? And what happens is, by uniting online, we citizens, we literally recreate everything. Hey, Draco, could you share the links to Crazy Diamonds and Imagine, so that people will be able to get links to that? And Rakesh, can you make sure that you're taking copies of everybody who's here?
Actually, I'm
Okay.
gonna. You are asking about the feed chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my responsibility. Before we
Okay.
hang up, I need to copy everything and put it somewhere so that we can look at it later.
If I'll say this message to everyone who's here, we're up over 113. I don't know how many are still here from that. If you do not want us to use your name or your information here to contact you, please just indicate that in the feed. Just say, please don't. And then when we copy everybody here, we will do our best to not reach out to you or bomb you or do whatever it is. So
So,
I'm sorry,
Lynn,
did I cut you off, Ashfaq?
no. Actually, Lynn was saying that, She's an artist. That is great, Lynn. We are looking forward to be working with you, maybe on an artistic project or music project. I don't know. I haven't heard U2's new song. I'm a fan of U2, so I'll definitely take a look at it. And so, K Dave, I don't know what you mean by please don't.
No, I told her to put please don't. So what that means is when you
Oh, okay.
copy the names of everybody here, she
Yeah.
does not want us to I believe it's Kay as a woman. She does
Yeah.
not want us to contact her that way. So Kay, we will not. We will make sure that we don't, okay?
Yep.
Um
So actually, Lynn, we can talk about creating a shop where you can uh, sell your products and bring your messages out to the world. So we will try to reach out to you after we finish this live stream, and we will have a discussion like what we can do together. So
maybe Lynn, maybe we've inspired you to create a piece of art about online citizen-led democracy or the women of the nation, the women of the world or the nation forming and founding the world's first online democratic nation. Um, so maybe we've provided a little inspiration for you. Okay, so I want to talk about something else that has to do with people feeling like their vote counts and what we promote in my book, The Recipe. If you could save world democracy with 3 taps of your screen, would you do it? Or the Meritocracy Manifesto. I would urge anybody here. It's kind of it's a little bit cumbersome, but the Meritocracy Manifesto is a step by step from beginning to end. I might even do it today on today's feed and take you through each chapter of asking an AI about online citizen led democracy and taking it from the very beginnings of the concept and why we should be considering it to what happens if the citizens of the world unite online democratically, and how does a major AI think that would change the world. Now, what I'll tell you is a lot of people are scared of AI, and we should be. But my point about all of this is that just like we are the internet, we don't access the internet, we are the internet. We are, in essence, AI. AI only influences our lives when we allow it to. And once we unite online and we establish these filters for, remember, when we unite online in a pro-democracy environment, our filters control that environment. We control everything in how we allow it access to us through our filters. Okay. And once we do that, one of the first things that the pro-democracy citizens of the world need to do is you need to designate to any company, any corporation, any AI, any nation that we do business with, okay? If you are not pro-democracy, then you are not pro-democracy. So if your AI is not pro-democracy, if the algorithms that exist within it and the algorithms on every social media platform that we allow access to us, if they are not clearly and demonstrably pro freedom and democracy, then you have to pass through filters with us. If Meta is going to use an AI or multiple AIs and they can't clearly prove to us and demonstrate how they are pro democracy and pro freedom, then we're going to filter them. And we're either going to utilize different social media platforms, okay, that are pro democracy, or the women of the world are going to conduct a hostile takeover of Facebook. Okay. They are the women of the world. If they unite online, they will control all social media. Hang on. Sorry about that. The women of the world have the ability to unite online and create just a few collaborations, and you will control the world's politics, economies, religion. Believe it or not, we're going to tell you how you're going to control the militaries of the world. The women of the world literally become the most powerful and influential force on the planet. And it's all done with pro-democracy alliances online, and it's all done at the click of a mouse. If if tomorrow, if Monday NATO woke up and they had 10 million emails from women across the world who said, I ask NATO to recognize the IOD Women's Nation as an official nation in the world. And if NATO comes out and says, we recognize the IOD Women's Nation as the first legitimate international online democratic nation, the International Online Democratic Women's Nation, okay? The moment the women of the world do that, everything changes. Okay, that recognition, what NATO does and what all of the nations who support NATO and freedom and democracy do is they immediately are put into a position that is both offensive and defensive. How does NATO support and defend this women's nation? And how do the nations of NATO collaborate with, and just like I described earlier with California, how do we integrate this online democratic women's nation with our land and borders based nations where we allow them power and influence within our structures, but we also grant them democratic autonomy outside of us? It's it 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 creates this loop. I like to think of it of kind of plausible deniability, like you hear about in the CIA, or what is it? Nuclear deterrence. Okay, all the women of the world have to do is say, we are considering taking this action against this nation or this corporation. Okay, and here is what is required in order for them to avoid us, the online pro-democracy women of the world, from beginning to take these actions. And in our books and stuff, I'm going to give you my my retraction in just a moment. If you agree to meet our requirements, then we will not impose our will upon you. Okay, but if you don't, we will immediately put up filters that restrict your corporation or your product's access to our marketplace. And we will begin the process of compelling you to become pro freedom and democracy, because we are the international online democratic women's nation, and we are one of the most powerful nations in the world. And you will listen to us because we refuse to stand by the wayside. And this is the shift that happens when you understand that we don't access the internet. We are the internet. We control that. And what I don't comprehend, or I do, but I wish was different. I don't comprehend why this hasn't happened already. Okay, literally, in the years I've been working on this, when I finally realized a couple of years ago that all that had to happen is for one group of pro-democracy citizens to email NATO in unison, or for the citizens of California who are pro-democracy to email the governor's office in unison. When I realized that they could do that and obtain immediate recognition, and all they had to do was send that email, I didn't understand why they weren't doing that. And we're going to ask you to do that today. We're going to give you a message to email to the governor of California for anybody who's interested. And we're going to give you an email to send to NATO. And in fact, I'm going to ask Draco to prepare that. And it's going to say, we're going to list those email addresses for anyone who needs to leave this live chat early. We're going to list their email addresses, and we're going to put the text in there that says, I formally request online pro-democratic citizenship with your offices. Somebody can come up with a better way to say that. So what I want, we had someone who left, I think it was Tina who left earlier. We should have left Tina with those 2 email addresses and that message that can be put in the subject. And that's how simple this is. And we're going to ask everybody who's here, or if any group wants to do it in unison, we will all pause this live feed, and I will go in and I will send my email, and Ashfak and Draco and Rakesh will send their emails, and everybody who's here can send an email to NATO. And I've sent them these emails before, okay? And I don't get any response. But I'm telling you, we might, if we get 20 people to do it, or if we get 50 people to do it, right? And we all send those emails, somebody at NATO is going to say, what the hell is online citizen-led democracy? What are these people talking about? And maybe someone there will be one of those innovators and those inventors and their leaders, and they're going to look at this and say, holy shit. If we get these people to unite online, they become the most powerful force for freedom and democracy in the world. We've got to support this. We've got to promote this. And if we can't get that today with 10 or 20 emails, we're going to try and get it our next show. And we're going to try and get it our next show. And we are not going to give up until we force the world to have open discussions about freedom and democracy. We're also going to provide a bunch of emails for influencers. So I'm going to read you a list of names that I came up with. Midas, Crooked Media, which includes Pod Save America, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders, Governor Newsom, Scott Galloway, Adam Kinzinger, Legal as Fuck. Lev Parnas and his son, I guess, is like just killing it. I haven't checked his stuff out yet. Mary Trump, Mark Carney from Canada, NATO, Ukraine, President Zelensky. My nickname for President Zelensky, I call him President Vladimir Democracy, because that man has the whole future of democracy on his shoulders right now, and the Ukrainians do. We all need to get a message to them to unite. There's this amazing YouTube channel. It's called Inside Russia by a guy named Konstantin. This guy is being threatened on a routine basis, and he will teach you more about what's going on inside Russia than you could ever imagine, and why we are at this point where the President of the United States and the GOP could literally snap their fingers or have us tap our screens online, and it would it would subdue Russia. Sun Tzu says, the art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. And here's the next part that's most important: opportunities seized multiply. Opportunities seized multiply. He's on my list. I was going to say him, and help us get this message to him. Can you imagine what would happen if James Tallarico or Jasmine Crockett or AOC or Newsom came out and said, I'm running for office and my platform is going to be based upon uniting the citizens, the pro-democracy citizens that I want to work with online. And I will set up a collaboration between your online entities, your citizen-led online democracies, and we will directly collaborate with you. We are going to lead the world forward as online citizen-led democracies in direct collaboration with and parallel to our existing democracies. If any one of those candidates came out and made that announcement, hey, Draco, can you put a link in to that edited Jasmine Crockett commercial that we did? This was judged to be one of the best pro democracy commercials there are, and we made our own version of it, and I freaking love it. And we need your help to get her and James Tallarico to see this stuff. I'm going to go back to my list. Joe Walsh, Heather Cox Richardson, Robert Reich, Tom Hartman, Paul Krugman, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Brian Tyler Cohen, Michael Fanone, James Tallarico, Talking Feds. How come when you look at this feed that you guys are in, when I go into some of these other Substack feeds, they are just filled with people commenting. And all I do when I comment is I ask them to discuss online citizen-led democracy. I ask them over and over and over again in these feeds, why won't anyone discuss this? How do we get you to discuss it? All we need is one of these influencers to get past being defensive and complaining about what the problems are and to start talking about what happens when we unite online, and the whole fucking game changes. Okay? And if the women of the world or the women of the United States or the women of California unite online, you become the most powerful and influential force for freedom and democracy in whatever umbrella you have united online under. And it's that simple. You just have to pick a place. You have to get a whole bunch of people to email them and say, we want to unite online. And the minute you get any one of these influencers to endorse this, the whole world will jump behind it. Can you imagine if the citizens of Denmark united online and they created the IOD Denmark nation, okay? And now they reached out to Ukraine and Ukraine reached out to them and they united online. And then Latvia and Lithuania and Poland and Finland and all of these democratic nations that are in risk in Europe, and the citizens of those all united online. Rakesh found out a thing. I believe it was Estonia. Estonia made a major switch to integrating online technology into their government, and I forget what the number was. It's a really small nation, but they saved something like, I don't know, 50 or $100 million on an annualized basis. All those citizens have to do who are utilizing whatever this online platform or these online platforms are, all they have to do is unite online and start asserting their economic, social, political, religious, and military influence as free and democratic citizens, and all of the Baltic nations will join them. And then all of the EU nations will join them. And all of a sudden, the pro freedom and democracy citizens of the world are united online, and they're the most powerful and influential force in the history of history. What am I missing, Ashfak?
You are not missing anything. I mean, you are talking about lots of stuff. So at the beginning of our live conversation, I was actually thinking about we are not talking about the very basics. Like imagine, somebody from rural part or remote part of the world, could be somebody from Bangladesh, join this chat and they ask you what is IOD Nations or what is International Democratic Nations. How would you explain it so that everybody understands? I mean, I know it's a platform, it can be something like a digital platform, but uh, what can we see inside of that platform? I mean, do you think you would like to discuss about that?
Okay, so I'm going to issue my retraction.
Okay.
So, in our last feed on Tuesday, I talked about boycotts, online boycotts. And I want to make very clear that this, what you are about to listen to, is a retraction. But in this retraction, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back away from the illegal part, and I'm going to tell you what the potentials from the legal part are. So in that show, I discussed a boycott, which we are not promoting, we are not endorsing. We are talking to you about this as a part of our retraction. And what was suggested was that large or a moderately sized group of citizens, even around 1,000 or so, could choose an online platform or store or corporation, and I used the name Amazon. And that small group of people could start conducting purchases and returns to the point where they created chaos, financial, staffing, um, all kinds of chaos. And that can be done for any company or corporation in the world. A united force online can do that. Now, it's illegal to promote that. I am not promoting that. I am not recommending that. But here is what I'm clearly recommending. The groups that unite and align online should throw out and throw away every limitation or every thought about what you can't accomplish. Okay. And what you need to do is need to start throwing up on the wall. If we're united online, what are all of the different ways that we can impose our power and influence upon entities in the world to compel them to become pro freedom and democracy? Okay. So it may be illegal, and it is illegal, and we're not promoting the idea of doing that to Amazon or anyone else. What we are promoting is that you unite online and you start discussing what are the ways that we can exert our power and influence that are not illegal. Okay. Um, we're going to be doing a new book, and it is going to be freaking hilarious, and it is going to be groundbreaking. Um, let me let me ask everyone here, if I told you that there was a tool and weapon that the pro-democracy citizens of the world could utilize anywhere, anytime. It's nonviolent, okay? It doesn't cause death or injury, okay? Hey, Jane, It's readily available. Okay, this is a tool or weapon that's available right now today to the pro-freedom and democracy citizens of the world. Nonviolent, readily available, inexpensive. Just the threat of using it, if you constructed those threats in the right way, would be potentially more of a deterrent than nuclear weapons. And the reason I say more of a deterrent is because it's nonviolent, because it's environmentally friendly, because it's readily available, because any citizen group in the world can utilize this tool and weapon. That's what makes it more of a deterrent, right? Because, for instance, when we talked to Lynn earlier, if the IOD Women's Nation came out and said, if so and so does not choose to demonstrate that they are pro freedom and democracy, they run the risk of the citizens of the world utilizing this tool and weapon upon them. Okay. Jane, you don't have to subscribe. You can get access for free. We do not charge for people to participate. This message
Let
is too
me
important,
add something
too important
here.
for speakers. Go ahead.
So Jane,
Remind me, I got to tell you about this tool and weapon though.
okay. All right, I'll do that. So Jane, you can subscribe for free. I mean, we actually promote people to come and join us in this conversation where we try to protect and save, or maybe sometimes make it offensive, the world democracy. So, welcome to our live feed, and I would like uh, to go back to the feed, the comment, and Annie Swanson made. Yes, we really need somebody who is active in peacemaking and democracy. So please, if you can, email her with this live link. Go ahead. We are planning to do this a long live, so share it with her. Tell her to subscribe to us so that we can have a conversation. And also, Rakesh told me that we missed a comment from Margarita G. Shapiro. I tried to find her comment, but I couldn't. If Rakesh or Margarita, you are hearing, please write down the comment again so that we can, get back to your question. So, but
And
we were talking
wait,
about the
it, yeah,
tools.
we will. Who was the one who commented about Sweden sharing this
Uh,
about peace and
and
democracy?
Anna or Annie Swanson.
Annie, just a thought. If you they may be asleep now, I don't know, but if you send this to them and you tell whoever that person is that if they can get just 20 to 30 people from Sweden to unite online to found the International Online Democratic Swedish Nation, okay? And if you can get 10 or 20 or 30 of them to do that and start talking about it, we can change the whole world. All we have to do is get them the recognition that they're doing that and get them to invite other countries to start doing it. And it goes back to the law of diffusion of innovation. Okay, we don't know where this chasm is. We don't know what the point, the inflection point is where everything will change. But what we do know is that if a certain number of the right people, influential people in the world, get wind of this, all of a sudden, this is going to sound really selfish, but all of a sudden, I get some help to get this weight off of my back. Okay. I desperately need some help from people in the world to start discussing and sharing this, because I have an amazing time working with these guys, and we create some really fun, creative material. But watching what's happening in the world, when you know every single thing that you watch happening that you wish wasn't happening, would not be happening if the pro-democracy citizens of the world were united online. And you watch the suffering. When I watch a pastor get up and speak before the GOP, and he starts talking about why women in the United States should not be able to vote, and that he believes that that's what God wants, and that's taking us back to where our country needs to go. Okay, I reject that. And the more rope we give them, this could reach a point where we can't prevent it from happening. So if you don't know what's happening in Russia right now, they have shut down Telegram, and they have shut down the internet, okay, to prevent collaboration and protests, okay? And so once you give the powers that be, and I think if you're following the Epstein files, you understand that there's this large cabal of very, very wealthy men who not only control the world's economies and the direction of the world right now, but they're all protecting each other because they go around raping children. Okay.
Yeah.
And they have to protect each other, because if the women of the world get put into a position of power and influence, those sick bastards are going to go to jail. Okay. And you guys, the women of the world, the youth of the world, the LGBTQ of the world, the BIPOC of the world, the third world nations of the world, anybody who wants to unite online as pro democracy and freedom, we have at the tap of our screens or the click of our mice, we have the ability to change the world and assert ourselves as the dominant force in the world if we choose to. And
Hey,
like I said earlier, we need the women of the world to do it, because the men sure aren't up to the task. We got you where we are. We're the ones who screwed it up.
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I found a comment from Margarita G. Shapiro. She said our founding fathers were idealists. They had to be to imagine such an amazing plan for our government. Maybe it's time to accept that our system is broken and make it better. Not throwing it out, yes, to women coming into their own powers. So,
I'd like to speak to that, to
sure.
Margarita Shapiro. A couple things. Earlier, I told the story of how a former friend told me that democracy always fails. And ultimately, I realized that he's right. But democracy always arises and comes up bolder and better. My dog is named Bucky, and he's named after Bucky Fuller. And Buckminster Fuller was one of the world's greatest inventors and futurists. And Buckminster Fuller said this, Margarita: don't fight forces, use them. You never change things from within. If you want to change something, build a better model that makes the previous model obsolete. Dare to be naive. We are intended to be architects of the future and not its victims. And this quote, we'll talk about that, Courtney. This quote relates to the demise of our existing democracy, and how always throughout our history, There has been a next bolder, bigger, better future of freedom and democracy. And what we contend here is that we live at that moment. Right now, all we need is the women of the world to unite online by tapping their screens or sending an email to NATO. And we're going to ask you to do that in just a little bit. Or I don't know if we've shared that email address and that message, but we need to get it up. The system is broken, and it's time for us to be naive. It's time for us to adapt and overcome. It's time to us to recognize that we, and right now, the women of the world, because most of you here are women, okay? You are literally the architects of the future right now. If the women of the world all unite and email NATO in collaboration and say, we wish NATO to give the International Online Democratic Women's Nation official recognition, okay? Once you do that, the whole world will follow you, okay? You will now be sitting at the head of the table in the world's social, economic, religious, political, and military discussions. The women of the world you'll be required to clean up the mess that we white men left for you, just like we always do. But in conjunction with that, you get to share what women bring to the table when they lead, right? The reason why women hold together families is because they teach us peace, okay? They teach us how to work together, okay? Women have grown up in an environment where they've always, to some extent or another, been subjugated, okay? They have always, I mean, what is the thing, behind every famous man is the woman who props him up, okay? Women teach us how to work together, okay? And yes, Courtney, the founding fathers were slave owners who came to a country already occupied. But what I want to know is who are going to be the founding mothers of international online democracy. You have come to a country, you are in a country that we have screwed up, okay? No offense, Courtney, but I refuse to live in the past, okay? I don't want to worry about what was done in the past other than to learn from it and not do it again, or try not to do it again. What I want to talk about is the future. I want the women of the world to step up and say, this is what we see as the future of democracy. And we're going to establish it online, and we are going to put the women of the world in a leadership position. And we refuse to do things the way that they've always been done. And if you do that online, you control everything. Okay. I know you don't believe it, but instead of doing boycotts and boycotts, let me give you an example. Recently, I saw a list of boycotts, and that list of boycotts had like 20 companies that I'm really pissed off at, right? And I really want to boycott them, but I don't see shit happening. It's really hard to boycott all of these. And how do you do this? And how does it mess with your life? And how busy are things? And all of this crap, okay? But what happens? I want you to imagine, I hope Lynn is still here. I want you to imagine Lynn goes online with a feed as the president of the United States Online Democratic Nation. And Lynn holds up a hat. And in that hat, she says, here are the names of 20 corporations and companies and products that we want to boycott. But we have a history of creating these long lists, and shit doesn't happen. It's not effective. But what we are going to do, what the U.S. Women's Online Democratic Nation is going to do, we are going to select one name from these 20. Okay. And we're going to give you the opportunity. Okay. You can integrate being pro freedom and democracy into your mission statement as a company. Okay. You can demonstrate to us how you are going to become actively pro freedom and democracy. And you have 1 week to do that. And if you
Joel,
don't, yeah,
we should finish it. We have some comments we need to address.
I know. But the women of the world, Lynn is going to say, here's the company's name that we chose. And if you don't demonstrate and put into your mission statement and your actions that you are pro freedom and democracy, we are going to fuck your life up. Okay? The women of the world are going to come at you and only you. And now I would imagine that a lot of the women are sitting here saying, well, that's not fair. What about all the other companies? Or do we have to be so aggressive and all that stuff? But it's not what we do to that one company that matters. It's not what the women of the world say to them. We're going to talk about Target. What matters is the other 19 whose names were in the hat that didn't get chosen. Okay? What Lynn has just done by doing this boycott in this manner is every one of those 19 companies is now sitting there, holy shit. How do we keep the pro-democracy women of the world from choosing us next time in the hat? And now they're coming to Lynn. All of those companies and corporations are coming to Lynn, and they're saying, how can we demonstrate that we are pro-freedom and democracy? What does that mean? How do we get immediate, unfiltered access to the women of the world in your online marketplace? And you've flipped the whole dynamics. The women of the world are now the ones in charge. Okay. And the other online pro-democratic nations. Okay. Now these companies and these corporations realize that if they want access to you, unfettered, unfiltered access, okay, they have to meet your requirements and your guidelines. Courtney, you're not going to have to go one by one. If you annihilate one, okay, it's done. The rest of them are going to be coming to you begging not to be annihilated. Lynn's list, Lori, is whatever you join with her and you guys decide the list. The women of the world, if they unite online, you get to pick the companies, right? You get to say,
Okay.
I don't like these pricks. I'm going to go to those messages in a minute, but I got Courtney and Lori and Lynn engaged here, okay? And I'm not going to lose that. What I'm telling you is you control this. You get to create the list. You get to decide what the punishments are going to be. You get to roll it out to the women of the world and have them vote on it and choose. You become a dominant force in the world. Okay, whose comments should I talk about?
Okay. Sorry for bugging you while you're talking. Rakesh, not Rakesh, Draco is flooding me with names. Okay. And Rakesh is also telling me that we need to respond to comments instantly.
Give them to
So,
me. Go.
all right. So I think we have done till Lean, where when she said my last name is Buck, lol. So after that we have Lori Shimmer. She said, please do put up the link. I want to add my name to the NATO list. Thank you. So Rakesh bro or Draco, please send over the link. And then we have Caroline Steele, woman nurture the vessel of human life. And then Nilas said amen on that. So I actually wanted to add a few things. Yes, you are the mothers, you are the bringer of life, you are our sisters. You can actually make a huge difference if you step up. So let's go back to Courtney said, I hear you. Laurie said, yep, women need to run the world based on your opinion. Thank you. By the way, the moms to the rescue. Yep, I agree 100% with you. So Lynn's still here. Lynn
I want
said,
to
how
make a
you?
comment to Nella.
Sure, sure.
Nella says getting women in the position to do that will be the challenge. So Nella, earlier I talked about the law of diffusion of innovation that basically says that all change, it's called a law for a reason. All change of large groups of humans follows a law. Okay. And that law says you have to get the first thing you have to do is get the 2.5%. Those are the leaders, the innovators, and the inventors. And once you get those, hi, thanks for being here. We're glad to have you. Once you get that 2.5%, the next thing you need to do is like 12 to 15%. And once you have that, you just blow through everything. Whatever that change is that roughly 18 to 20% supports, you have it. Okay. Kierlan, we're going to talk about that. So the point, Nella, is what we have to do is we have to switch to where when you talk about a challenge, most people view a challenge as something that's not likely. And what we're telling you is that when you unite online, those challenges now become likely. By being united online, it completely disrupts the volume and velocity of change through the law of diffusion of innovation. In other words, if your change is pro-democracy and you have a couple million women united online who are pro-democracy, they can make that change happen at the click of a mouse. All that has to happen is Lynn steps up and says, hey, we've got a proposal for X. Okay, we're proposing another boycott because we still haven't gotten where we want to be. Okay, and immediately she puts that up to the IOD Women's Nation, and within minutes, maybe you're going to know whether you have the support for another boycott. And Lynn can tell them, this is why we're proposing another boycott. The boycott has to have an objective. You have to indicate why you've chosen that company, what they need to do to avoid the boycott. Okay. You have to pull them into your net. You have to pull them into your economic marketplace and say, you have to demonstrate to us that you're pro freedom and democracy, or you're going to have to pass through a bunch of filters to get to us. And so when Nella says getting women in the position to do that will be the challenge, what I say to Nella is right now, this group of women, right now we're up to 185 who have come into this live feed. I don't know how many are still here. Okay. But you guys could sit here right now and you could type into that message and say, I want to be a part of making this happen right now. I want to be one of the people who sends one of those first emails. And will any of the other women who are in this group join me and commit to do that? And all of a sudden, Nella, your challenge became a cause. Okay. And all of the women who said, yes, I would like to participate in doing that. Now you go out and you start inviting others to be that. The objective, give your objective and 15% and above, and you can make change. That's it. The objective is we want to make Facebook a pro freedom and democracy social media platform. Okay? That's the objective. We want them to issue a mission statement, a corporate mission statement that says they agree to execute their business as a pro freedom and democracy platform. Let me tell you one of the first things I would say to them, Ashfak and I have been trying to run ads to promote what we're working on. And in those ads, we want to pay to use the word freedom and to use the word democracy. And Facebook will not allow us to use those words in paid ads. What the fuck is that? How on earth are we supporting any social media platform that restricts the use of the words freedom, democracy? How do we expect freedom and democracy to survive in an online environment like that? And so the women of the world can unite, and you get enough of you, and you say to Facebook, you either demonstrate that you're pro freedom and democracy, or we're coming after you. Okay? We're going to do it. And we are going to impose our will, and we're either going to create an online social media platform that's pro freedom and democracy. We're either going to collaborate with you where you become one, and we in essence have a friendly collaboration or takeover. Or third, we're gonna conduct a hostile takeover. We're going to go after your biggest advertisers, and we, the women of the world, are going to turn Facebook into our primary online social media platform. Okay? The minute you do that, because you are the internet, okay, that's it. But instead of, so Lori, this is what's so interesting about this. I lost a conservative friend because he said democracy always fails. I lost a really more progressive liberal friend because he's like, Joel, do you know what it takes to build a platform and to get all of that designed and the money and all of this stuff? And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, well, who says we have to build the platform? If you have enough women united online and they go to an existing platform, no, we need to control Facebook, Nella. Facebook, so in a world of chaos, you have danger and you have opportunity. Stop viewing Facebook as just a danger, or at least consider doing that, okay? View them as an opportunity. If you flip Facebook, like we described earlier, okay, if you flip them and you convert them to pro-democracy, now all of the other platforms in the online world are going to be coming to you and saying, we want access to this multi-million citizen online women's democracy. How do we get it? That's right, Kierlan. It is the opportunity. We are living at this moment of the biggest pro-democracy opportunity in the history of humanity. And we're all online. We all communicate with each other. We all go to these same locations. And all we have to do is unite in one or two places and impose our pro-freedom and democracy will upon a few entities. And the rest of them will all be coming to us. We don't have to boycott them anymore. All we have to do is threaten it. All the women of the world have to do is pick these companies and say, here's our next 20 we're going to draw from the hat on. If any of you you have 1 week, if you want to avoid being in the drawing, just demonstrate to us how you're going to be pro-freedom and democracy and what actions you're going to take. And in our last show, we talked about it. You can create like a nutritional label for any product, okay? How many of your employees are full-time? How many are part-time? How many get full benefits, okay? What's the average wage? How rapid is your turnover, okay? And now when you shop for a product, okay, you know, let's say you're buying a horse saddle or whatever it is, right? Or you're buying a power washer, okay? And you immediately, when you pull up that company, their nutrition label, their pro-democracy status is right there, their ranking. and you know what it is. The women of the world may decide to impose a tariff upon that. Okay. If you want access to us and your pro democracy grade is less than X, we impose a 10% tariff. You can become pro democracy and avoid that tariff. My point of all of this is if we unite online, we recreate the rules of everything. Everything. It all changes. And this here's one I'm trying to get across. The citizens of Ukraine could unite online right now, and they would become the most powerful founding nation in NATO. In other words, right now, Ukraine cannot get into NATO because they're being prevented by Hungary and because of the limitations of NATO. What happens if the citizens of Ukraine unite online and they say, we're going to create our own NATO online, and we're the leaders of that. We're not just asking to be allowed in. We're the ones who are leading it, and we're now determining the criteria for what it takes to be recognized as a pro freedom and democracy online citizen-led democracy, right? We have to perform this mental switch. Everything you look at, every problem you look at, you have to begin to look at it and say, if we were united online, what are the steps, tactics, and strategies that we would implement to make this pro-democracy? So Nella says, so view as opportunity to flip makes sense, but what a challenge. I do see how it could happen with uniting people. Nella, I have this weird mentality. I actually like challenges. Okay. I went to bed last night with this challenge of how do I get more people to understand this? And as overwhelming as it seems, ultimately what I realized is I know that this is going to happen. We are growing our Substack by about roughly 25 people a day. Okay. And every time I get a chance to present this, every time Ashfak and Draco and Rakesh get to share what we do, we get more people who understand it. So I'm telling you right now, online citizen-led democracy is inevitable. Okay. We are not going to let this die, and it's going to happen.
Okay.
I think the women of the world should lead that. I want to see that. I think it would make the world a better place. And if they do it with the youth of the world, holy shit. They're the only ones competent of doing this online technological, rapidly changing world. We have to get them. Every woman who's in here who's a mother, you should be talking to your children and inviting them to unite online and establish the International Online Democratic Youth Nation. Go ahead, Ashfaq.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, definitely whoever is watching right now, you need to share it with your family and friends, and then also have a conversation like how we can make it happen. So I would like to actually go back to the comments. I saw probably Krillin. Yeah, Krillin actually made some great comments. So her first comment that I want to address was, hang on, let me go back to that. It's related to bank, like how can we block a bank or something. So let me find that, and then we can actually move. Okay, I found it. So how do you boycott the banks? So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we will move
So,
to
okay, who shared that question and that comment?
Krillin Steel. I
Okay.
think I hope I'm spelling pronouncing it properly. I'm really sorry if I'm not.
So I have to be very, I think it's Krillin. I have to be very careful in how I present this because I don't want to present something that's illegal. And if I present something that uh, that I don't quite understand all of the nuances of the law, but if I start promoting something that is too detrimental to an entity or entities, that can be a crime. So I'm not going to commit any crimes. I I have expressed a complete retraction for what we posed as a boycott. And you can go into one of our articles and you can see that full retraction, which explains it. But how do you boycott banks? Here's what you do. You get with Lori and you get with Lynn and you get with Nella, okay? And what you try to do is you try to find someone who's been in banking or works at banks, okay? And you start just posting ideas. It's, you know, it's brainstorming. It's like just throwing shit against the wall and seeing what might stick, okay? And you put up all of these ideas. What could groups of people who were united and collaborating? And Courtney, hell yes, Courtney. Um, what could you accomplish? And what you want to remember is it's not this broad-based thing where you try to get everybody to leave a bank or anything. Leaving the bank, leaving Amazon, leaving Facebook, maybe that's what the women of the world who unite online will decide to do. Okay. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but what I am here to do is try and offer different ways of looking at things. And I believe that if you stay on these platforms, if you engage with these platforms, and if you unite together on these platforms, like Courtney said, you can accomplish anything. The way that you it goes back to the fundamental premise. We do not access the internet. We are the internet. Every business, every product, every corporation, every bank now functions in the virtual world. They function online. Okay. So the question becomes for the women of the world, what can you do collaboratively online in order to get the banks to do what you want? Now, in order to do that, what gets really challenging, and here's a great challenge. I forget who it was who said they love challenges like me. The challenge is from a macro standpoint, this women's nation is going to operate with other pro freedom and democracy online citizen-led democracies. You're going to operate at several levels, several tiers. So the top tier is going to be macro. How do you get these banks, these corporations to be pro freedom and democracy? Then you're going to come down and you're going to start operating nationally and regionally or statewide and then locally. And these are all different tactics and strategies that you implement along the way. And you don't want to get confused. You don't want to bring this thing where you're trying to affect banks down to the local level necessarily, or you want to figure that out. But what you do want to do is, what is it that you want from the bank? What are they doing that you disagree with? But more importantly, your primary goal is to get banks to become pro freedom and democracy. That's the ultimate goal, because the first thing we have to do is we have to impose freedom and democracy across as many people in the world as we can. I watched the Super Bowl, or watched a large part of it. Here we are, the biggest marketing, consumer, corporate product orgy in the world, okay? And not one damn commercial at this crisis of freedom and democracy across the world. Not one of those corporations, not one of those companies, none of them ran a pro freedom and democracy advertisement. And the reason they didn't is because we didn't demand it from them. The next Super Bowl, this coming World Cup, we need to make damn sure that there are pro freedom and democracy advertisements. And we need to hold these companies and corporations to task. And honestly, the men of the world, they're not here listening to this. We're up to 197 of you who have come into this. Okay. To the men, thank you for being here. But really, for whatever reason, most of you here are women. Okay. And you're going to have to step up and do this. Or I shouldn't say you're going to have to. You have this golden opportunity in front of you, right? You are born and living during this point in time in history where the women of the world simply need to tap their screens or click their mice in unison. If the women of the world all email NATO together, okay, and you get, I don't know what the turning point is. I don't know when we cross that chasm, but if you get enough of you, if we get enough of you to do this, okay, boom, boom. The moment NATO recognizes that you're a power and an influence that they want to be aligned with, it's done. Everybody in the world will follow you. You will lead the world forward into a brave new world of online citizen-led digital democracy. That is the moment that you're living in right now. And all you have to do is click your mouse and make it happen.
All right, I want to throw in some ideas there as well. So about this bank boycott. So I'd like to tell you about a little bit of my personal experience here. So I was using a bank. I mean, they were doing great, but suddenly their customer service fell down. I mean, it was really, really bad. And I mean, what can I do from, my place? Like, I'm just a single guy and I cannot compete with such large corporations, right? But I actually can do some things. So I mean, I do have a voice and it matters. So the first thing I did is I stopped using all of their services. Okay, and even if somebody recommends or somebody asks for a referral, I tell them that don't go to that bank because it's bad. So these are the one of the things that you can do. And the other stuff that we can do is we are actually moving through technology in a like incredible speed. Right now we have all this blockchain technology where the payment system is decentralized. It doesn't make any corporation rich. So we gotta find some intelligent guys or ladies to come across, unite with us to build such platforms that actually works for the people and it's actually built by the people. So that's my take on the matter, and we do have other comments. So I'm quickly just gonna read those out, Joel. If you feel like you haven't addressed any, you just tell me to stop. I'll stop and you address.
Can I read them out?
Sure. Actually, so you have to scroll up to where Krillin said, "How do you boycott the banks?" After that, you can scroll past through the comments that you.
Well, I think I've addressed most of those. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna hit a few. So Lori says maybe we women should start our own social media platform. Start one.
Actually, we made one. It's available on social.ionations.org. It's a prototype, And Joel and I need to talk to you guys about a GoFundMe where we are trying to raise funds to make this prototype into a fully functional, just like a platform like Facebook, so that we can move if Facebook don't comply with like our democratic demands. So go ahead, check it out. It's remember it's just a prototype. It's not a polished product. It has lots of bugs and stuff, but we are trying to build a better one. We are trying to build some more tools, some more platforms that gives the power back to the people. So if you are interested to learn more about it, visit iodnations.org and definitely check our social media platform that we were talking about. And Joel, don't forget about talking about the GoFundMe. Okay.
Okay, and I don't want to forget about that readily available, nonviolent, peaceful weapon,
Oh
tool
yeah, the
and
book.
weapon.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
okay, so uh so here we'll have a little bit of fun here.
Okay.
Damn, so if anyone here besides Ashfak or Rakesh or anyone else, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offer $50 to anyone who thinks you know what that weapon is. Nonviolent, readily available, easily concealed, highly effective and disgusting, environmentally friendly, um, and it is the ideal, perfect weapon and tool for women to use. If anyone here can put the name of that and define it in our comments, I will pay you
Okay.
$50.
So Lynn is saying she knows. What is it, Lynn?
Rakesh, you be quiet.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you guys keep working on that. We'll come back
Yeah.
and visit it in a minute.
Yeah. Let's talk
Um,
about the book. Yeah.
okay. Here's one of the things that I came to understand on this journey. There are there are only two forms of human collaboration. Okay? There are only two ways that human beings work together. Okay? One of those is primarily authoritarian, and that means where a group of self-appointed individuals or an individual are at the top and they make the final decisions. Most corporations and companies are primarily authoritarian in nature, okay? Because they can't really function democratically, okay? And you have to remember that when you're designing these international online democracies, you have to have elements of capitalism and risk and reward. These can't become socialist. They can be socially entrepreneurial, but you have to keep the reward for the citizens. You have to keep the challenge. You have to promote innovation and change and all of that, but the other is more free and democratic. And those entities, you still have to have a group or an individual at the top who is ultimately a decision maker in lots of it. This is the way our nation, the United States of America, was founded. But they're elected and they're put there democratically and they can be removed. Okay. And so everything that we do as human beings who collaborate fit into this. Janet, I'm leaving it to these guys. They're going to try and fix that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back and see if anyone here. All right, guys.
So Caroline
I'm
Glass
gonna I'm
said,
gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna award $25 to Carolyn because she got half of it. All right.
Caroline Glass, is that right?
Carolyn Glass, you need to connect with us. I'm going to pay you $25. All right, if you
Well,
want it.
because you are close. I mean, you are not 100% right, but you were close. So congratulations on winning $25.
So here's
So
the point, Carolyn. The nonviolent, highly effective, readily available, inexpensive, easily concealed, um, highly deterrent and disgusting tool and weapon that we are not using currently is stench. Stink. One of my favorite actors is George Clooney, and he made a movie that I love the premise of it. It was probably one of the worst movies he ever made. Okay, and the movie was called "The Men Who Stare at Goats," and it's this satirical poke of fun at this special military regimen, and they use their mind to conduct warfare, and it shows Clooney is the hero, and he stares at this goat until it falls over, and everybody thinks that he's this new mental ninja warrior. Okay, and I imagine this group of women, and I call them the women who stare at farts. Okay, and what these women do is they work to come up with all manner of different stench and deliveries of stench that they now use and or threaten to use to impose their freedom and democracy definitions upon the world. So let me give you an example.
I think we should reveal the name of the book and see if
No,
anybody.
I don't want to review the name of the book. Okay.
Okay, I mean,
Not
you should actually want to see if people want to, read the book. So that
they
way,
they will want it. Just I don't want to do it yet. I've got some reasons for that.
all right,
Okay.
brother. Okay.
Kierlan. Look at Kierlan go. Now, how many of you are literally crushed and heartbroken by what has happened and is happening to the victims of Epstein? Okay. I watched that, and the fact that our government and a whole segment of our society and population has abandoned them. Okay. The art of noticing. What would happen if a group of citizens across the world, including the victims of Epstein, what would happen if they held a drawing like we described previously for boycotts? And what would happen if they determined that the name that was chosen was going to be subjected to long-term, continual stench attacks, right? What if these victims, or what if these perpetrators who are out there knew that even if they don't come to trial, their front yard is going to stink, their vehicle is going to stink, okay? If they go out with friends, they might have a drone that flies over and stinks them, okay? The stench of what they have done to these women, shouldn't they be exposed to that same type of lifetime of suffering, right? If you can prove, and again, this is up for the women of the world, this is up for those women who have been assaulted. They get to decide what the criteria is for how they are going to implement their retribution upon the people who did this to them. Okay? But this puts them into a position of power and influence and cause and effect. Okay? And we, the citizens of the world, could support them in this. We could donate funds. There are so many ways that stink and stench can be utilized as a tool and weapon. Okay? And it is all a part of this mental shift. What you have to do is we all have to stop playing victims. Okay? We all need to stop being defensive. You know, one of our quotes is make democracy offensive. Okay? When you, the women of the world, unite online and you sit down and you pick every issue that is of concern of you, and you realize that you're not approaching it from a standpoint of how do you protect yourselves from it? How do you defend against what's happening? And when you flip that mental switch, that being united online and being the most powerful and influential free and democratic group, collaboration, and nation in the world, and you say, how are we going to use our strength, our power, and our influence offensively? How are we going to we're not just going to stop what's happening in the world. We're going to promote ways we are going to be the leaders of this new online virtual free world of freedom and democracy. And we're going to make the best fucking democracies that have ever existed in the world.
Okay.
That's your challenge, right? Your challenge is not in this chaos. Your challenge is not to just worry about the danger. Your challenge is to seize this opportunity, right? Unite online and then just start talking about and implementing all of the things that you can do. And you will literally change the world. Women and children will, and young people will now become some of the most powerful forces in the world. And all you have to do is decide you want to do it. And all you have to do is email one location that will give you credibility, that will recognize you. And you now become the most powerful force in the world just by tapping your mice in unison or
All
your
right.
screen or clicking your mouse. Go ahead, Ashfak.
I would love to ask the viewers a question about the stench idea. So, if like get a book written with that idea, what Joel described, would you buy it or read it? So, let us know in the
You're
comment. Another tool is collaborating all of our intelligence. I was once told knowledge is power. Oh, definitely. So, Laurie, the book app that I made, its tagline says, "Knowledge and wisdom will set us free." I truly believe it. Okay, knowledge and wisdom will set us free from all the shackles that are holding us down. So yes, we need to combine all our intelligence to rise above these authoritarians, as Joel says.
okay. Okay. So the book I wrote that you can get for free on our website. Lynn, if
Okay.
you've got a better idea, come up with it, right? But I'm telling you right now that if the victims of Epstein choose one known perpetrator of that rape and violence, and that person ends up going into hibernation because everywhere they go, they stink, that opportunity seized will multiply. Now, I want to talk about the book, the recipe. If you could tap your screen 3 times to save world democracy, would you do it? Okay. On the cover of the book is Socrates. And if you don't know the story of Socrates, it's perhaps the most important story for freedom and democracy. Anyone here who gets into this history and this kind of shit, and if you want to have your mind absolutely blown, listen to this. If you don't know the story of Socrates, he was a great philosopher in the greatest democracy of the time, the Greek democracy, that ultimately failed like all democracies do. And from that failure, we built the democracy that was the United States of America, and we're going to build the next great democracy, and you women are going to lead it. I'm just telling you right now, it's going to happen. But Socrates lived in this democracy that was led by the elites of Greek society, the educated, the wealthy, and all of this stuff, okay? And Socrates, the leaders loved him except for one thing. Socrates was preaching or teaching to people on the streets and his followers that democracy was doomed to fail. And these leaders of this great democracy were coming to Socrates and they're saying, please stop saying democracy is doomed to fail. We need democracy to survive. This is the best government we've ever had. And he goes, but I can't lie. It's doomed to fail. He says, it's just a math equation. If your democracy is largely made up of ignorant, uninformed people, which were the peasants of the time, you know, they lived in the fields, they did their thing, okay? If you give them the same voting power that the educated, the informed, and the knowledgeable have, all that's required is to manipulate their minds, and they will vote in a way that will be to the detriment of democracy. Now, that's what we're witnessing in the United States right now, okay? A contingent of people who are uninformed about what climate change really is, who are uninformed about, how differing drugs work to enhance the health of women. All of this stuff. We're in this exact same spot that Socrates said always causes the failure of democracy. Okay. So they came to him and they said, you've got to stop saying this or we're going to have to arrest you. And he said, well, I'm not going to stop saying it because it's true. So they arrested him and they had him in prison and they said, we'll let you leave. You can go to another country. Or we're going to have to prosecute you. And he says, I won't go to another country. What I'm saying is true, and I'm committed to it. So if you have to prosecute me, do it. And so they prosecuted him. And he went before a jury, and this jury was 100 people, and they voted 52 to 48 to convict him of undermining their democracy. And the sentence is death. And so the leaders of this great Greek democracy came to Socrates again because they loved him and they respected him. And they said, we will let you escape from jail if you will leave. And he said, I can't do that because I would be lying and I wouldn't be truthful to what I believe and what I teach. And so ultimately, in the end, Socrates drank the poison that he was required to do to fulfill his sentence of death. And he died to teach us that if we don't find a way to either limit the voting of the ignorant and uninformed, or what was not really feasible at that time was to make them more informed and aware of what's going on, then our democracies fail. So, Lynn, here's my proposal for you as the president of the U.S. Online Democratic Women's Nation. When you set forth your voting structure, I would ask you to consider having a structure where everybody gets one vote, but you have tests and education that is available online. And every one of your citizens of your women's nation has the ability to go educate and inform themselves and test out. And every test gives them a improved factor of voting. So in other words, every one of your citizens may ultimately have the ability to educate and inform themselves and earn 2 votes. And the citizens who don't wish to participate in this education and becoming informed, yes, they're still allowed to vote like everybody is in a democracy. But now what you've done, you've used the internet. Okay. This is why the internet is the most powerful tool and weapon in history. You have now used the internet to overcome the one flaw in democracy that the world's greatest philosopher recognized. And when you, if you women who found this online democratic nation decide to implement that, not only do you become the most powerful and influential democracy in the world, you become the most educated and informed and better democracy that there is in the world. You become the first democracy that may have solved the one weakness in freedom and democracy that the world's greatest philosopher in the world, Socrates, saw. How amazing is that to have that opportunity at the tap of your screen or the click of your mouse? Why wouldn't we, as self-determinate human beings, want to exercise that and be a part of making that happen and building this next brave, bold democracy? And why can't we get Midas and Pod Save America and Crooked Media and AOC and Jasmine Crockett and Bernie Sanders and Governor Newsom and Scott Galloway and Adam Kinzinger, and Ukraine and NATO? Why can't we get people to discuss these ideas? Why is this so hard? I could do that. My master's degree is an MS in Lynn, this is what I'm talking about. You guys are already here. You have everything that you need to be able to do this at the tap of your screen or the click of your mouse. Okay. There are so many amazing leaders in this world who, if they, remember the movie Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. If you guys build this online citizen-led democracy, the pro-democracy citizens of the world are going to come flooding. Okay. You're just not going to believe what the possibilities are that could happen. Now, we're going to take a moment here. Hey, Draco, do you have that link to the commercial that we made for with Clooney in it, with the Louis Armstrong song? Guys, we're gonna take a break here, but Louis Armstrong was, my dad and my brother are professional musicians, and Louis Armstrong is one of my favorites, and as I indicated earlier, George Clooney is one of my favorites, and I have a really bizarre sense of humor. So I saw at a Super Bowl, actually, I saw a Coinbase commercial. I think it was Coinbase when they came out with it, that was regarded as one of the most revolutionary commercials at the time. And I was on this mission to convince George. I created this alter ego, and his name was the Dr. Gino Bartali. And Dr. Gino wanted to convince gorgeous George Clooney to sell his tasty little peanuts to save world democracy. Now, when I say that, I'm saying the word peanuts with an accent, and I'm sure that all the ladies out there recognize that this is yet again boyish humor, like using farts and stench, and this is why we need you to lead the world and keep people like me from doing it. But Draco, can you share that link for anybody who wants to watch that commercial? We'll keep an eye on this, and you guys can click on it since we don't know how to share our screens with you. But we think you will. It's pretty damn funny. Courtney, you tell us anything that you want from us that is important to you or engages you, and we will get it to you. We are so thankful and so happy to have you here. We need you. Lynn, we could get all women hooked with chocolate. You could, but it's not as funny as George Clooney's honey and habanero dipped peanuts. So, I'm a dark chocolate fan myself, but when we made this commercial, I laughed so damn hard. This is just how warped I am. Draco, where the hell are you? Where's the link? Okay. Is there any topic, anybody someone give me an issue that concerns you, that you would like me to address. Do you know what happened to Draco, Ashfak? I can't hear your voice, Ashfak.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was mute while I was talking. Sorry. So, Courtney, I would
There
like
it is. There it is.
yeah.
Okay. Anybody who wants to take a break, I would love to hear if anybody has the same warped sense of humor that I do. So Draco put the link in there. You can all click on it. It's
I
me
think
doing my
linking
best.
won't work. You need to copy and paste it into
Okay.
a new window to look at it.
Okay, and this is
So
me doing my best imitation of Louis Armstrong singing. And the product that we're promoting is Gorgeous George's. He's the Gorgeous George's intercontinentally ballistic and hypersonic, audaciously tasty, juicy, and nutritious little peanuts of positivities. So there you go. That's the product that we're promoting. I got to tell you, I've done a couple of comedy skits, and I did one as Dr. Gino, and it was a big hit. Nella, we'll get it for you. Draco, let me try it.
So Nila, we will definitely make sure that you have the link in your inbox when we finish this call.
Oh, there it is.
Screenshot. So Krillin, what screenshot are you talking about? You can explain it a little bit.
I'm taking a break, guys. I'm watching it.
All right. So I am going to share the link again here. Okay, so yeah, it won't. Draco, you need to hyperlink. So actually, the hyperlink doesn't work on the live chat feed. We're really sorry. Uh, However, we are definitely going to send it to you when
But
we
can't they
finish.
copy and paste it?
It is working on my end. I can copy paste it, but for some reason they cannot do it. So I am personally taking the responsibility to send this to you. Uh, when we finish this call, we will have an article, and we will definitely send all of you an email. If you are subscribed, you will have this in your email. So
All right,
uh,
I'm going to talk to Lynn about education, because education is perhaps the most important part of all of this. The Lynn, the reason our democracy is failing is because, or one of the primary reasons is because I can speak for myself as a U.S. citizen. We've been educated to believe that our primary responsibility in our free and democratic nation is to vote, and that is the biggest horrific mistake that our education system has made. The vote only matters if the things that have been done leading up to the vote provide you with something to vote for that makes you believe in your free and democratic society. Okay? If we don't stay involved in our democracy so that it gives us things to vote for that we believe in, then our democracy fails. And so the way that we change our education system is we go back and we do this whole online version of educating students. And we create classes, we create contests. Why isn't there an international pro-democracy competition, right? Why doesn't every school have that? Why aren't we all competing to make democracy better? If we had done that, what I'm proposing and talking about here would have been done 10 years ago, because the kids already, if you talk to the kids about it, they're going to figure this out in minutes, and they're going to realize the potential of this. But we have to give them this freedom to understand it. And so education is what does that, right? And when you provide that education online where they can all get it, and we make part of it a requirement, and we require that they test out on it. If you required the citizen, if I had been required as a student to not just understand what Socrates did and why he died for freedom and democracy, okay, we would have already understood this problem. I would have already known and been raised as a young man that I need to be an active participant in our freedom and democracy. Now, does that mean that I always would have been? Hell no. I was a young man, boy. You know, for me, I just wanted to go ride my bike, man. But that seed would be in me. And when we got to these points where we're in chaos and we're in distress, I would have already recognized what the dangers were and what the opportunities were. Okay. And I would have been at some point far earlier, because I am guilty of the failure of our freedom and democracy. Okay. I would have been already involved in that. I would already recognize the roots of that and what I needed to do and what I could do and what I'm capable of doing. And the moment that the internet had been invented 30 years ago, we would have already been focused on how do we integrate the internet as a pro democracy and pro freedom tool and weapon in our everyday lives. And if we had taught our kids that through our education system, right, we would not be where we are today. I don't know how many of you remember, there's a famous story when the Soviet Union collapsed, and I believe it was citizens of like Latvia and Lithuania or whatever, and they wanted their independence. And what happened was they formed this human chain that crossed their nations. I forget what it was. It was like 500 miles or 1,000 miles or whatever. And they formed this human chain. And they did this without the internet, right? This was all done by word of mouth. Look at the "I Have a Dream" speech. Okay, that all of those people arrived there without the internet. I I called up Ashfak and I told him when I realized that Russia was going to invade Ukraine, and President Vladimir Democracy is my hero. Okay. Um, Anybody who can help me get this message to him, we can save Ukrainian lives and we can reward Ukraine for what they've done. But I realized that Russia was going to have to attack Ukraine on a couple of different roads. And we were at a point in time where if we had these online citizen-led democracies and we had decided that we were going to have massive pro freedom and democracy festivals, right? Where people were going to be camping there and bands were going to be playing, and it was just like a festival of freedom and democracy. And we were going to have thousands and thousands of citizens from across the world, and they were going to do this like Woodstock right in the middle of the road, the only way that Russia could attack Ukraine. And the message to Russia is, if you attack here and you kill these citizens from across the world, you are done. Okay. Russia, as we know it, your power structure as you know it, is not going to last. And I believe that people could have united and prevented the invasion of Ukraine if we were already united online. And we didn't. Was it not 46 biolabs and of course NATO? Not sure what you're talking about there, Kierlin. Tell us more what you're thinking. Look at Draco. You guys, we're going to have you meet Draco here. If we don't design peaceful systems, chaos designs itself, right? This is why we need the women of the world to lead, because we guys can come up with great ideas, but we all know that it's the women of the world who really get shit done. I hate to say it. I know it sounds like a cop out. I tell you, I'm sitting here trying to do the best that I can to promote this idea, but honestly, I really, from the bottom of my heart, believe that it's going to be either the women of the world, the youth of the world, the Black, Indigenous, people of color of the world, or the LGBTQ of the world who are going to lead this movement. And I think it's going to be the women. Kieran's trying to say the claims regarding 40 plus biological laboratories in Ukraine supported by the US. Yeah, I am not knowledgeable enough to speak about that. So here's an interesting here's an interesting thing, Lori. There are a couple of, I don't know if you'd call them an NGO, or they're entities that track by nation freedom and democracy across the world. Okay. And they have actually come up with a format where they rank the health of freedoms of democratic or of all nations, but they rank them the health of their democracies or their freedoms. Okay. And approximately 30 years ago was when they started seeing this big switch. And instead of freedom and democracy, expanding across the world, it began to shrink. And do you know what directly coincides with that? Their reports are issued annually, and every year freedom and democracy has been shrinking across the world. And do you know what the one common thread through all of that is? That's when the internet was invented. The advent of the internet age is in direct correlation. As the internet has grown, freedom and democracy has shrunk. Now, when you think about that, okay, and you think, oh my God, this is a problem. For those of us who see this as a challenge, what we realize is if the internet can have that much negative influence, it's also capable of having that much positive influence and even more if we unite online and utilize it. It's 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 yin and yang. It's authoritarianism versus freedom and democracy. Okay, this is just the basic essence of life. It's this thing that women understand inherently and inside, that even if they don't know they understand it and live it, right? They understand that when we collaborate and when we unify and when we work together, it makes things better. It holds our families together. It holds our relationships together. It holds businesses together. It holds nations together. And we need you to hold freedom and democracy together on the internet. And if you guys do that, this is not going to be some perfect world, okay? There's still going to be violence. There's still going to be disagreement. There's still going to be people who reject what we're talking about. But what needs to happen is we must make sure that the overarching foundational tenet of online freedom and democracy is that we promote freedom and democracy in every aspect of our lives, that it's the foundational thing that we teach in our education system. It's how we conduct business. It's who we choose to do business with, who gets unfettered access to us. All of this becomes possible, and it's all in the hands of the women of the world if you guys choose to unite online. So is there anyone else who has a topic that they would like me to discuss? I'm at about 3 minutes and 17 seconds. I'm going to do one other discussion with you. We don't have it here. Draco's going to share it with you.
Actually, Joel, you can try to invite Draco here to see if he can join. And also, you can
Okay.
also try to see Lynn wanted to join us, so see if you can bring her in. And anybody who wants to join us, just drop in.
So
Yes, I
I
want.
sent,
Yeah, I can see a notification that says waiting for Draco.
yeah.
So thank you
Well,
so much
Draco,
for.
are you gonna cut out for a bit, Ashfak?
No, I want to thank all these people, man. We are here for almost 3.5 hours. Laurie, Annie, Lean, Nila,
Anne. That's Anne, not Annie.
and oh, sorry, Anne. So, all these people, they are with us. I just want to thank you so much for being here, being with us. We would definitely try to bring you in on our next meeting. Hopefully, we will all be able to talk together.
Hopefully, we will be able to talk. We will be able to share our screens, and hopefully, every one of you is going to bring back a couple of people to join us. Okay, we're going to do another live feed at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday. But don't run away just yet. Draco, we're still waiting for Draco. I'm going to tell you how many people here. This is like this is like one of those things where my brain goes into overdrive. How many people here are familiar with Maslow's pyramid, the pyramid of human needs and desires? If any of you are, the 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 bottom needs and desires of human beings are physiological. In other words, for human beings to live, they need air, water, food, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Okay? All of our psychology, everything that we do, Carolyn, don't let me forget to pay you. Everything that I really want to hear what those of you who are saying you're familiar with this, I really want to see if this has the kind of impact that I think this could upon you. So when I was doing my meritocracy manifesto, I was going through asking AI a bunch of questions, okay? And in
Hey
that,
guys.
as I was what's up? You guys,
Welcome
there's Draco,
to
agent
Agent of Peace.
of peace without a light, so we
Finally.
can't see him, but you can see those gorgeous white teeth glowing. Okay, Lynn. So, Draco, can you? Sorry to get your gorgeous face here, but since you decided not to put a light on you, can you show the original Maslow's pyramid on your screen?
Yes, I can do that. Let me do that.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So here's the point. All of you who said yes, when you look at Maslow's pyramid, on the very bottom, the foundation of human existence is air, water, shelter, food, clothing, sleep. I may be missing one. Okay. So when I was working with AI, I asked AI this question. There it is. Okay, leave it right there, Draco. So I asked AI this question. Oh, you showed them the revised one. Okay.
Okay.
So
Here is the
okay, that's what I
original
want.
one.
Breathing, food, water. Oh, sex is in this one. Okay. Sleep, homeostasis, and excretion. So we all need to take a dump
yeah,
as our basic physiological needs. Okay. Now,
Yep.
I addressed food, water, clothing,
Oh, I'm
shelter,
sorry.
and all of these. And I asked AI, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the difference between people's access to food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep when they live in a democratic society versus a primarily authoritarian society? Okay. And when I asked AI, it came out, and you can see it in our meritocracy manifesto. And I don't remember if I posted those results in the book, The Recipe, or not. But here's what came out. AI told me that on average, the quantity and quality of air, water, food, shelter, clothing, and sleep doubles for the human beings that live in primarily free and democratic societies. We literally double that in democratic societies. That means that we double the amount of people who just freaking stay alive. We double the quality of their access to air, food, water, clothing, shelter, etc. And we double the quantity of it. Okay? All when you live in a free and democratic society. Well, I asked AI, if that's the case, thank you, Draco, leave that there. If that's the case, shouldn't freedom, mobility, and democratic rights be foundational under these physiological things? If we double human beings' access to them, doesn't that, in essence, make freedom and democracy and self-determination foundational to achieving access to those physiological basic human needs? And if it does, have we been teaching psychology wrong? Are we teaching voting wrong to our kids and our education systems, right? What does this totally disrupt our economic models and our social models? Think of this if you're religious, right? Every major religion in the world is created and compels the followers of that religion to improve the lives of their fellow practitioners and their fellow human beings. Well, if that's the case, doesn't that make freedom and democracy foundational to you living your best and most, if it's biblical, most foundational religious life? Why don't we teach this? Why don't we talk about this? Why don't we understand that just to be decent fucking human beings, freedom and democracy, the ability of someone to be able to move to go get better access to food and water and shelter and clothing, it's freaking foundational to who we are as human beings. And how have we missed this? Why aren't we have to do a better job as people? And this is what I'm asking. I'm asking you guys to join us. So did anybody create that message that I would like to send to NATO and to Governor Newsom? Lynn, when you say you were taught that all through school, do you were taught the physiological parts as the basis, but you weren't taught anything about how we better achieve or accomplish those, were you?
Actually, I was sociology major, and I also read about psychology a little bit, and I told Maslow's theory to Joel. So I see where how Lynn is relating all of this with herself. So we need to we are starting to realizing so many stuff that we were taught in our childhood, but when we grow up we realize that okay, this is there's more to it, or this is not right. So we need to address those things, and we need to address, go to the board of supervisor meetings or stuffs where you can raise your voice, tell your concerns that okay, they are teaching us the wrong stuff, or there's more to that, we are not teaching that to our children. We need to uh, tell them, tell people that we need to improve upon everything.
I want to respond. I want to
Yeah, sure.
respond to Carolyn. Carolyn,
Sure.
I would like you to flip that around. Okay? I totally understand why you're saying that, and I'm not trying to talk down to anybody when I say this. You have to understand I think we're all a touch autistic, and my autism manifests itself in solutions and freedom and democracy. Okay? So when you say who's running the world, I say we live at a time where we get to decide who runs the world. Okay? I flip that from danger or chaos to an opportunity. When you say ask the wealthy who took away the basic needs of people, they've already proven to me what they're going to do. Okay? It's been proven throughout history. So I'm not interested in asking them. I'm interested in uniting online, and I'm interested in seeing the pro-democracy women of the world impose the basic needs be better satisfied by the wealthy. And when you say you can't teach self-actualization to people who are starving, then what we can do is we can turn that into an opportunity, and we can say, how can we create less starving people so that they can better learn self-actualization? And that's what I'm focused on. Okay. I am not focused on what we can't do. I am, you guys, wait, go show them that image, Draco.
Yep, I'm doing it.
Do you guys see that? This comes from how Draco sees me. Okay. He sees me as having this big head that's swollen with all of these ideas for freedom and democracy. And he has created this whole short series. And they are badass. And they are so much fun. And they've got our music in them. Some of the music that we created that should become, I just freaking love it. But Lynn says, for instance, when I taught fourth grade, we were a society unto ourselves where the children govern our classroom in the way Cali runs Cali. Must preserve critical thinking. This is the whole thing, Lori, is there's this unique opportunity where the women of the world can unite online with the youth of the world, and you guys can freaking change our whole educational structure. Okay? We have other nations in the world who have way better education systems. And Lynn, I will look at your Substack about America. You have given us so much of you today. And Ashfak, will you know how I am? Will you make a note? Because all of us need to go support Lynn, and we need to look at what she has to say. No one has engaged with us in any of our chats the way that Lynn has. And anyone who's here should go look at what Lynn's doing. You guys, the ladies here, you guys should collaborate, right? Work together. We need to help each other. We've got to make this happen.
Okay.
So anyway, these videos are done as shorts to promote online citizen-led democracy, and we do it with our music, and it's fun and it's entertaining and it's serious as hell, and we're just trying to do everything that we can to get people to share this idea. So before we go, we're going to share 2 email addresses, okay? And we're going to share a message that you can send from here. You will just be able to do it. I went to a rally, the No Kings March, and I interrupted the presentation that was going on there. And I said, why won't you ask us to do something? Why don't you have some task that we can all participate in where we walk away from this biggest protest in history and we feel like we actually accomplished something? And I got shut down. And we are not going to be shut down next time. I am reaching out to Indivisible and 5051. Anybody here who's involved with them, we need you to ask them to talk to us, because they all think they're united online and they all think that we're doing enough, and we're not doing enough. I want to walk away from that next protest that's coming in March, and I want to know that there's 1 million or 1 billion of us who united online with NATO, and we're going to dominate the world, and women are going to lead the world. Okay? We are going to change. We are going to create the next bold, brave new world of freedom and democracy, and the women of the world are going to be a major part, if not the linchpin, of making that happen. Does anybody else want to hear me talk about anything before we go?
Yes.
And before we share the email address with you and the message.
Yes, I want to discuss about something, and that is GoFundMe.
We have a half-ass GoFundMe account that we haven't even put a video together for.
Yeah, we have a, like we can call it a placeholder video. So let me share the link with you again. And uh, Joel will talk about it. So Draco, can you stop sharing your screen so that people can see us? Okay.
I want to
Joel.
say something really quick. Lori, what if we contacted Bruce Springsteen or Bono or Lady Gaga? I was trying to have a whole list of email addresses that you guys could send to. If you come join us next Tuesday, and we hope you do, we are going to have a long list of emails, addresses. We're going to have a very simple message, and we're going to try and encourage as many of you as possible to send emails. And the purpose is this. Lynn, I will contact you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so save your Lynn's number.
Can you save that and then delete it?
Yes. I mean, I cannot delete it from here, but I have it on my notes so we don't forget.
Okay.
Okay.
We want a large number of people to send emails to a bunch of different people and locations, inviting them to learn more about online citizen-led democracy. It's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Lori, and we're going to have a lot more emails for you. So, Lori, Bruce Springsteen, Bono, Lady Gaga, have you seen what what's her name with who's engaged to Kelsey?
Sportsman.
She's like who's the most famous female singer, one of the most famous right now?
Could be Adele. I don't know.
Not Adele. Anyway,
Billie
they're
Eilish.
spending millions. What is it? Taylor
Billie Eilish.
Swift. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if a group of you women emailed Taylor Swift and told her that you were founding the International Online Women's Nation and you would like her support? Can you imagine what would happen to the Women's Nation and the Youth Nation if she took that and supported it? The whole world would be changed immediately. Everything that we're trying to do, the whole dynamics of it would all of a sudden be set in motion. You would have the credibility, you would have the money, you would have the youth, you would have the women, you would have social media. You guys would dominate the world. It would be done. And now, instead of trying to convince people what we can do or what might be able to happen, it would be happening. And you guys would be putting proposals forth and trying to form an outline of what these online citizen-led democracies are going to become. And you guys have that right at the tip of your screens, at the touch of your mouse. Go ahead, Ashfak.
All right. So I just shared the GoFundMe link in our feed. Now, Joel, come to the center and let's talk about GoFundMe. Like, why should people actually donate, and why we are actually raising money? So we need to address those. So go ahead.
Okay, so this may be our video. Hi, everybody. My name's Joel Coleman. I'm the founder of iodnations.org, International Online Democratic Nations. And I am stoked to be here today because our GoFundMe is going to end up leading or end up inspiring or being a part of a bold new world of online citizen-led democracy that is going to be led by the IOD Women's Nation and the IOD Youth Nation, the International Online Democratic Women's Nation and the International Online Democratic Youth Nation. And the women and the youth of the world are going to unite online, and they are going to change democracy. They are going to be the leaders of a bold new world of online citizen-led democracy that's going to blow your minds. And if you support us, you will help us fund some of that. And if our support goes crazy, we are going to blow you away with what we do with that money. And we hope you will join us, and we hope you will support us.
Yes, some of
That's
your
my
money will
message.
go to the IOD Nations social media platform so that we have a better alternative to Facebook or any other platforms that we want to avoid. So
That not support freedom and democracy.
yes, and the GoFundMe
And peace.
campaign. Peace,
Peace,
yes.
definitely,
So
yeah.
right now the GoFundMe.
And Stink. Don't forget about Stink. We got to promote Stink.
All right, we will promote Stink.
The women of the world need a non-violent weapon that they can wield like a sword.
So yes,
Go ahead,
our
Ashfak.
GoFundMe doesn't, it's not updated. I mean, we have a placeholder video, a placeholder text, but one of the, we decided to do this here so that we get a clip out of it and we can actually use it on our GoFundMe intro. So we would really appreciate your support. So that's about it.
Okay, I'm going to give a closing message. Sorry. Go ahead.
Actually, I was thinking about giving a last try to see if we can bring somebody in, So do you want to do that or?
I want to do that. So first, Draco, are we ready to post those 2 email addresses, and do we know what our message is?
Okay, I have the email addresses. If you give us the messages.
Yes, please send a message as well that we can.
I'm going to write the message right now. Hold on.
All right.
Right.
Lady Gaga.
Hey, Draco.
Okay, yeah.
Draco.
Hey.
Can you share something else that you think is funny as hell that people would like to see that shows how crazy we are?
I wanted to show them the Kankel drone. So go ahead. Okay. Draco, just share the Kanga drone, I guess. So Joel, for some reason we cannot hear you. Maybe your mic got disconnected or something. Okay, so what are we looking at, Draco?
We're looking at Kanga drone.
Kanga drone, okay. So move past to the scene where the Kanga drone blows up tanks and stuff. Joel, I will let you know once I can hear you. So we had another one with the tank, right?
Yep, we do.
Is that in this video?
Okay.
Okay. Katsai, Ashniko, Chapel Ruan.
Okay, this is our Kankel drone.
Okay, so Joel wanted you guys to see it, but I guess Universe has its plan to reveal our Kankel drone to you. So Joel, we still can't hear you. Please, maybe you need to check the mic settings or stuff. I don't know. So if you are looking at the Kankel drone, the fugly Kankel drone, let us know. What do you think about it? So Draco, go ahead, put like show the action, man. Show us the action.
Okay.
Yeah, go back, go back.
Okay. Here is the most funniest action.
Okay, okay. So you leave it. The current speed right now is too fast. So hold it somewhere so that people can watch it. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So sorry you cannot hear the audio, but there are some cool action and cool sound effect. I wish we could share the audios. Joel, we still cannot hear you, man. Uh, so we will wait for your message. So go ahead, write that message, and we will end this live stream as soon as we have your message.
Okay. So, bro, I'm not. The file you're looking for is not here, I guess.
It is here, but you are scrolling past it quickly. So on the second video, I saw the Kankel drone action.
Okay.
I can solve. I wrote the message above. Share. Okay. So Draco.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So stop this. Go to our feed. Go to the Substack feed. Close this video.
Right.
Okay. Now, guys, I'm sorry. Joel, something happened to Joel's mic, so he cannot join with audio, but he is writing on the chat. So Joel actually sent a message through IOD Nation that says, please accept this email as my formal request for citizenship in the world's online democratic nations. And Draco, go ahead, share the email address so that people can send that email to NATO. I hope Joel would be able to share. So he said, thanks everyone, send the emails, join us, post us. Let's see what happens when women lead the world. So Newsom and NATO. So we need to send these emails to two places, one to NATO and another to Governor Newsom. Okay, so Prilin said, I can't see chat, and Rakesh just posted it. And actually, I think it would be better we would send you, I mean, when this live call finishes, it will be posted as an article with a video. So in the article portion, we will have the video links that we discussed but couldn't share with you properly, and also sending the message, the email addresses, so you know what to do with them. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live chat. It's time we should close it out. Thank you everyone, whoever joined us. So see you on Wednesday. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. So go ahead, Joel, you need to close the chat, so close the live stream. So go ahead, do that. I'm gonna hang up from here.